Everyone, welcome to another episode of Fourever Rivals. Back for another week. Look at you losers. Not one winner on this fucking screen, mate. Unbelievable, mate. This is...
I felt bad. So I'm sort of glad I've sort of joined year 3 because it was getting too much for me. I felt lonely. I felt lonely.
Like you've got a fucking choice in how shit your club fucking performed over the weekend.
Lonely. Good evening.
Everyone welcome in the chat. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be a big show. Plenty of talk about, plenty of big games coming up this week. Mate, plenty of controversy still going on with teams like Essendon and Carlton, and even Richmond are just there in the background. Everyone's trying to forget about Richmond, how shit they've been performing. But there is some big news maybe about a player who could be interested in coming over, we hear. So we'll start with you, Liam. How are you going and how's your week been?
Mate, I've been slammed. Yeah. It's been a busy week.
That's nice. What was the name?
Been a sad week. Nothing naughty like that, mate. Yeah, we're not 100%, but we're feeling good as always.
What was his name?
Happy to be here. Not getting into that, mate. We're not talking about stuff like that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I know.
What about you, Manny? How you been going?
Oh, good evening, everyone. Yeah, good evening, Rocco. Viewers out there. Yeah, I'm doing well, my friend. I've sort of been under the strict orders of the wife where we've decided to fast for the Greek Easter this week. So it's been strictly no meat. So I've been doing a little bit of vegetarian. Got some beautiful T-bone steaks that have been cooling my name. However, they're going to have to remain in the freezer, and I'm going to enjoy Easter Sunday when we have a massive feast. And Chronia Pola to all the Greek viewers out there, Matula, all the best for Easter. Christos Anesti. And it's you know what? I don't know why, but somehow the fact that footy is travelling to South Australia, and I've just been talking to a few friends about it, and they said, and funny enough, they're all feeling a little bit depressed, saying it's not acceptable at this stage. It's shocking. But we will talk about it. And
we'll talk about it. Is it working? Is it is it the right thing to do? Is it going to last? I mean, they got it for 5 years or something. But we'll say hello to a few of the people out here. We've got Forever Losers, of course. That's what we are this week. Peter Bigger, Stuart always. And thank you. And we've got also Mick Marcucci, the captain. I love it. And Rocco Moro all the way from Perth. Look at this. Evening Rivals and the chat. Got Sammy Taylor, he's always on. Probably one of the first to always comment. Chicho, Dan, how are you, mate? 17 in a row. Yes, we will be talking about 17 in a row. You just keep breaking records, don't you, mate? Spartacus, he's always around. Hello to all the rivals. And Matula, here she is. Our favourite. How are all we feeling tonight? Want to wish my favourite Greek friend Manny a very happy Easter and whatever that says.
Christos Anesti.
That's it. That means happy Easter.
So lucky.
Good on you, Marco.
What is that? Can you? I want Mark to say that. What is it?
Christos Vetelanculo.
Christos Anesti.
You
can't say it.
Now I want Liam to say it.
How can you say that, mate? Christos Anesti.
Christos Anesti.
Yeah.
Which means Christ has risen. And you're talking about
is the X silent or what? How do you say that?
Hey, listen. You want to educate yourself? I'm going to tell you this once, and I'm going to tell you this once only. There are two types of people in this world. Those that are Greek and those that want to be Greek. Okay, now move on.
Anyway, good evening.
I want you to say it before we go on.
I reckon I reckon it's Ristos NSD. The X is silent, I reckon.
it. Good on you, bud.
Christos Anesti.
That's
I
it.
like it. I like it. Look at this, mate. We are very, very, very Oz. Thank you, mate. Oz. Forever and for now losers. Yes, there's going to be. I reckon there's going to be more losers. The honeymoon is over, baby, and it's never going to be that way. Roccomoto, mate. We love the music. Hey, what a song! I love that song. So we got a few more. We got Bocek, of course. We've got Bocek. Happy Orthodox Easter to all the Orthodox people because he'll be having his Easter too this weekend. What do we got? And before we go on, thank you very much, Oz, with the super sticker. Now I'm going to say hi to Marco. How are you, mate? How you going, mate? Hey, records are breaking. Hey, are you going to buy it? I heard the frame's coming out, 17 in a row. They're going to bring it out. You're going to buy one, put it up on your back wall.
Yeah, it's like the Premiership Cups. You know what I mean?
That's all the games with all the scores on it. That's going to be sick, man. That's going to be
good evening, boys, and good evening to the chat. And hopefully everybody did enjoy their Easter. And I'll be getting onto one of these a little bit later on this evening. So too much chocolate, not good for you. But tonight is an exception. Rocco, just quickly, mate, before we go on.
Yes.
We've finally got something in common, Rocco, me and you. We've finally got something in common. We both hate Carlton.
Very good. Don't they come out during the week? So I'm glad you're just taking those clips from during the week, but that is very good, very good. You're probably right. You're probably right. Hey, listen, I said this last week and I'll say it again. I love Carlton, but I don't like the organisation now, right? So I hate what they have become, but I can never hate Carlton. But you know what? That is very clever, and very clever from someone who sponsors the show. Carlton, security doors and blinds. Hey, just securing those 17 losses in a row. What a great way to secure them. And everyone's been waiting for this. Everyone get ready.
If you want your family to be safe, Carlton security doors and blinds is the place. Fourever rivals, a bomber supporter and a really top mate. All of your security.
What a song, mate. And as Bocek said, he's got the number there, 83394848. Hey, yes, tell us a bit about these security doors and blinds and what can you give the viewers out there, Marco?
I can certainly give the viewers, honestly, if you do mention Fourever Rivals or the Jumper Punch, 10% off your quote. And it's still going, but only for a short time because due to the war and the petrol prices that are starting to inflate. We're starting to get a little bit stung at the moment, but we're still happy to offer that 10% off. So if you need any of our services, security doors, internal blinds, external blinds, roller shutters, plantation shutters, anything for your home, give us a call, 83394848, and I'll be coming to see you. Thanks, Rocco, again.
I love it. Imagine Mark coming to your door, man. That's like they'd be looking at you and they'd be going, that's Mark from Fourever Rivals. Imagine that. Imagine that. That would be fantastic. Mark coming to your door, having a bit of a chat with Mark about footy. He could tell you about the MCG and home games and all that. He could go into all that with you.
And I've been in the business long enough now, Rocco, that I know that if I walk in the door and it's a dummy quote, I know the call was just for you to see me. Yeah. It's pretty legit. Yeah. If you want a free measuring quote, no, just a dummy call and I'll come out and see you. So I'll charge you for that then.
That's it. I love it. I love it. Listen, Matula, correct too, man. Both our fan bases are Vandals, Mark, aren't they? We're going to talk about that too. The Vandals. And we're going to, before we go on, all right. Mark came to my house and all right. We're not going to put those ones up
The
anymore.
name was a giveaway as well, but
Yeah.
And see that he got me. Well done. Quick there, but very good, very good. Big Sebbers in there. Hit the like button, guys. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button. We've been kicking ass lately. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. So make sure that we do it. Now, before we go, I just want a few little things before we go. First of all, we had that. What else did I have? Well, first I want to talk about tomorrow night. We've got the big event at the Sporting Globe, Adelaide v Carlton at the Sporting Globe. We'll be there about 7. Free entry. Make sure the link's below. Make sure you get on there. Get yourself the free ticket so we know what numbers there are. Get down there to Sporting Globe in Northland. We'll all gather together and watch an amazing game of football. The selection today was absolutely amazing, the selection today. So make sure you get down there. Sporting Globe at Northland. So make sure we get down there and support the Blues, man. We should get a good crowd tomorrow night. We'll have a beer. We'll have a schnitzel. Their ribs are superb up there, man. So we'll have a bit of that.
Is it Northlands or Northland?
Well, it depends on where you're from, mate. Depends on where you're from. If you're from the northern suburbs, it's Northlands. If you're everywhere else, it's Northland, right? But quite honestly, I called it Northlands for all my life, and I think I'll continue to call it Northlands. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Each to their own, mate. That's fine. Yeah.
Why is it Northlands? It's not lands, is it?
Here we go.
Liam, you're trying to educate an old school wog. Just you know what? Some things, they say you got to let dogs lie. You just got to let some things just let the dogs lie. Okay, that's it.
Fair play.
And we've got the manager there, Gokhan, one of our favourites. Hard rated, no sugar on tap.
Wow.
That's sick, man. I'm definitely going to have one of them, man. I love the hard rated. They're one of my new favourite drinks. Yeah, so it's Northlands, bro. Bro, you got no idea. You come from Perth. What would you know? It's Northlands.
I know that.
We're going to Northlands. You don't go to Northland. It sounds stupid. You go Northlands.
Just
See
Google
how it
it.
rolls off the tongue, Northlands.
That's not right. It is.
What do we got here, Rocco? Yeah, Big Seba. He is dreaded that we're going to get slapped. We'll talk about that. But let's get into a little bit of which one? This one. Fourever footy. There's always something to talk about. I want people in the chat to get involved in this one here because I think it's been a bit of a quiet week. There's always something going on, but there's nothing that really stood out, right? But we've got a few on the thing. We've got a few now. All right. It's gather round this week. We'll start with the gather round because everyone's been talking about gather round. It comes along every year. Is everyone happy with this gather round, or is it just another? Are we just wasting our time here? I mean, they've got it for another, I think, 3 or 4 more years. Is it working? The AFL say it's working. They reckon it's working. No football in the home of footy in Melbourne. We can't go to watch a match. You've got to go travel. Is it good? I mean, I've been there once or twice. Yeah, it's all right for a trip, but I don't know. What do you guys reckon? I'm going to start with Marco. What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, is it the gather round? Is it to promote football in Adelaide? I mean, I don't think it needs to be promoted in Adelaide at all, to be quite honest. I mean, they've got their own state there that are real passionate about their football. So, I don't understand. I mean. You've got your team, your own team, like say Essendon's playing their home game in Adelaide against Melbourne. I think it's a disadvantage. I don't think it should be in the fixture. I mean, Adelaide. I think after round 6, I think they've played 4 games at home. So 4 out of the 6 games they've played at home. So I think it's an advantage to probably Adelaide and Port. But as for us, other clubs, I think for us to play a home game up in Adelaide, I think it's a disadvantage to that team. So that's my thought about it. I mean, I know it's a good spectacle, I guess, for the people in Adelaide and for people that want to travel to Adelaide. But I can't see the reason why they're doing it. Is it because they want to, again, just improve the viewing up in Adelaide? I'm not sure what it's for. What is it for? You tell me, boys.
Well,
it's a good point you make, though. Yeah, about having a home game in another state. Like, I'd be pretty annoyed with that. Like, what benefit do I get about having my team play a home game? We're playing at Barossa Park or something. I think we are.
Yeah.
How many people are going to be there compared to how many you'd get here?
And who's Richmond playing? Who's Richmond playing? Liam, who's
we're
Richmond playing?
We're playing the Giants, so it wouldn't be that big of a game anyway.
So really, you'd be playing at the MCG.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we'd be able to get like at least double, you'd think, compared to what we're going to get at a ground in the middle of nowhere in Adelaide. So that's definitely something. But yeah, I like the idea. I think it's been good and it's definitely worked well. I think just kind of some of the points that you guys are making, I don't see how it benefits everyone. I think it's really great for Adelaide and it's really great to get all the teams together and have this sort of big celebration of footy, like to start the season off or just after Easter this time. It's cool and it's a nice idea. I think it's kind of sort of an idea like, yeah, it's been good, it's worked for a while, but I don't really see where it improves or gets better. I don't really know if it should continue.
Well, I think the two teams that are going to be disadvantaged is Carlton and St Kilda, whereas the rest of the teams are not being disadvantaged because at the end of the day, you're playing against another team and you're playing on a neutral ground. So that's not being a disadvantage to anyone. But Carlton's going to play Adelaide. Well, Carlton's going to play Adelaide, right? So they're playing Adelaide at the Adelaide's home ground. St Kilda's playing Port Adelaide. So, they're the two teams that are going to be disadvantaged. But the rest of them, you can't really say it's a disadvantage because there's going to be two teams who are going to be playing in a neutral ground. Now, I don't know where.
I'm going to stop you there for a second because it is a disadvantage, right? Because let's say the other games, right? Let's say Richmond, right? Yeah. It's a disadvantage. They should have been playing at the G, right?
Does it make a difference?
Who else is there?
Well, it could make a difference. But it could make a difference, man.
There's Collingwood and Fremantle, right? Collingwood, it's a Collingwood home game. Yes.
Yeah.
They would be playing at the G. And I'll tell you now, it's a bigger advantage playing Fremantle at the G than it is at Adelaide Oval, wherever they're playing, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden you've evened it up. So your home game has become a little bit of a disadvantage. Every team that goes, you might say it's a neutral ground, but you've lost your advantage. And now you've made it neutral. Yeah. Why have you made it neutral? Part of it should be, so that's where the disadvantage comes. And to me, I don't like it. I reckon it's ridiculous. In a league, in a competition where we're trying to even it up as much as possible. That's all they do. Every fucking year, the AFL try to even up this competition, right? They give you draft picks. They play you here. They always try to, because they want to make sure, unlike international soccer where only 3 or 4 teams can win, they want to make sure that everyone's got a chance to win. Okay, that's a fair enough idea. And then they do something like this, where you get disadvantaged again. So in a competition where we're trying to get it, where we're trying to even it up, they again bring out something that's going to disadvantage. It's already so disadvantaged. It's already so even, this competition. Uneven, sorry. It's very uneven because you don't play teams twice. You 1 year you might play the bottom sides and the next. It's so uneven. And then they brought in this. Why did they bring in this? I'll tell you why they brought in this. But there's money opportunity somewhere in this. That's why they did it. And we'll go on to this other thing before I go back to Manny, that even Brad Scott come out this week, and we could talk about this. I might have gone a bit early, but hey, this wild card round, he said it. He's come out and said, mate, they did it for money. It's a ridiculous idea why they brought in wild card. You know what I mean? So it's always for money. Manny? Yeah,
okay. I mean, at the end of the day, that's money makes the wheel go around, and obviously this is the way the AFL wants to do business. But the point I was trying to make is that, yeah, I agree. You know, if it was Collingwood's home game, they'd be playing at the MCG. But this is truly showing that you're going to have both Collingwood and Fremantle who are going to be playing on a neutral ground. Like I said before, I think the two teams that are going to be really, really up against the wall is St Kilda and Carlton. And I mean, St Kilda at the moment, you don't know whether they're going to be the team that's going to be up and rising. I mean, at the moment, Carlton's where Carlton is. So this is even a bigger disadvantage for Carlton. However, Adelaide, if it wasn't a gather round, would this have been Adelaide's home ground game anyway? Would that be right?
That was my point again.
Probably were. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it would have been our home game because we're away, and I think we were away last week against North Melbourne. So this possibly could have been our home. Who knows? I don't even know anymore the way they do things, you know. But I again, like always, I disagree with you. You say it's a neutral ground. It's not. It's not. It's a disadvantage to Collingwood. It's a disadvantage to, I'm just looking at it, you know, it's a disadvantage to the other teams that are Collingwood, Essendon and Melbourne. They would have probably been playing at a fucking at the MCG, you know what I mean? So that's probably even that up. I mean, Richmond is a disadvantage, you know. So to me, it's a disadvantage. You're disadvantaging clubs. That shouldn't be. We deserve 11 home games.
Listen, Rocco, if you first of all look at the way the AFL does the fixture, right? Now, you can't tell me that the AFL is not pushing hard for the Suns to do well this year. Yeah. So what they did was they thought, you know what, the Suns is up and coming. Let's get them to play first 5-6 games with the weaker teams, right? To try and show, because the only team they really beat quite comfortably was Geelong, but the rest of them they've beaten weaker sides, and then they get done by Melbourne. So it's even backfired for the AFL. I think the AFL just experiments too much, and that's the problem. And it is about making money, and to them it's making money. But how are they going to make more money? They're going to make more money because they want the interstate teams to be successful. That's what it is. They don't give a fuck about Victoria. I can tell you right now, because I know Victoria's Victoria. We've got our fan base. We've got all our teams that are established. They're just trying to push hard to try and get an interstate team. Now, Brisbane, they've been dominating in Queensland. So, you know, obviously now they're pushing hard because they want the Suns to also try and dominate, right? I mean, the West Coast Eagles, you know, they had their era. And, of course, Fremantle has just been a huge disaster for the last whatever years. Maybe they're thinking something outside the square here. Maybe there's something potentially moving forward that's going to benefit the people of South Australia. I don't know. But there's got to be something there. And you're right, Rocco. There's got to be something there. You know, they wouldn't be doing this just for the sake. And it's backlash for them because now that the cost of fuel has hit the roof, right, even though they reckon that we've come, the Americans and the Iranians have come to some kind of agreement. I mean, the cost of fuel, even there, the AFL is getting desperate to get people, and they're saying, "Oh, if you show at the service station your ticket, you actually get further discounts that'll be subsidised by the AFL and all that bullshit." They get desperate, and it's going to backfire for them because a lot of people will not travel. A lot of people will not travel because fuel is costing them an arm and a leg. I'm telling you right now.
It's going to be definitely an issue. Just a few comments before we go on. Manny Costco all the way. I think he's still Greek. Another one. Happy Easter to you this weekend. He says it's not neutral, Manny. Manny, talking to Manny. That's like fucking. We're in bloody like the Matrix here. Manny talking to Manny here. Fremantle just played there. They did. They just played Adelaide there. Now they're going to play there again, so they don't get it. And he's also said he came up with another good point here. Don't tell me this isn't true. They need to make money to keep the AFLW afloat. It's running at millions of dollars in the red. That's true too. Mm-hmm. That's true too. That's true, dude. So they're trying to keep that. They've done it with clubs over the years. They've done it. They always try to keep clubs afloat. You know what I mean? They're trying to do the best. And one more before you go. Thank you very much to Rockamoro. And this is another good point now. When Tassie comes in, who misses out on gather round?
Tassie, they miss out.
They miss out on that first year, yeah?
Yeah, they're stuffing it up. They get a miss.
Or maybe Collingwood could have Collingwood have a bye.
Because, of course, because
Collingwould be a majestic team, should not be travelling.
They won't give Collingwood a bye because they'll get people up there. So
it'd be a bug team like Saints or North Melbourne or someone that won't play.
Well, you know what? I hope that, first of all, I hope Fremantle win. I hope they punish you, and then you can sit back and you can go, oh, yeah, no, it was a neutral ground when you could have been playing at the MCG.
Listen,
right?
the Pies
at the end of the year, I hope you miss out on finals by 4 points, right?
The Pies
they used to travel well.
You learn a lesson in saying,
after what happened a few days ago, mate, it'd be double checking exactly what you're saying, mate. They're not traveling too well.
One game. Is that what you're basing it on? You're basing it on one game. Seriously, this is how desperate. This is how desperate you losing team is. So pathetic that you're getting so desperate to sit there telling me
you're starting to drop down the ladder there, Manny, mate. You started to drop down the ladder. Anyway, gather around. Has Adelaide actually got a contract? Have they got a future contract at all?
Yeah. So the Adelaide government or whatever have got, and they re-signed, I think, last year for another 5 years or
5 years.
I can't remember the amount, but it was like a 5 year. So it's there for another 5 years.
I think if they were going to do it, if they were going to do gather around continuously, I think it should have just been spread around the country each year. I think that would have been a bit more inviting and exciting, and have one at Melbourne, you know what I mean? So bring all the interstate sides to Melbourne and they can start playing it off the Soul if they want, or the Hangar, or whatever the case may be. But
with the burnt grass, they haven't even got fucking grass anymore, bro, man.
But I think they should be shedded around, mate.
I reckon that's a better idea. Yeah.
I reckon that's actually probably the only good idea you've ever come up with, Mark. I reckon that is. You must have been thinking about this, because that's actually a good idea. If they're going to do it, just do it around the country, and you could play it every Adelaide, Western Australia. You know what I mean? And as you said, you could do a Melbourne, then you could do it. What else is there? I don't know if there's anything else.
Why don't I do it up in Northern Territory? Maybe they should do it up.
I don't think there's enough grounds there to do it up there. You need a certain standard of grounds now. It's the way it is. You know what I mean? Before we go on, thanks to Grimsby, Australia doesn't have the population to support a 19th AFL. Well, we're going to go back into Tasmania about that discussion, and that's so true, man. Tasmania should have been brought in years ago before they brought in the other teams, you know what I mean? But now that they're bringing them in, not only is the whole league going to be disadvantaged, but you've got 19, there's going to be buys, you know what I mean? It's all ridiculous. All our teams are going to suffer because of the draft and that, because of them, because they want to top them up and make sure they're successful. Last thing they want is a team not being successful, right? And I'm telling you now, you can already see it, that it's already draining, right, the talent pool, right? You got 19 teams out. You don't think this is going to drain it even more? How much talent do you think there is in Australia for football teams? We've got to come up with, right, at best, you got 22 by 19, whatever that is, 22. That's like 400 players, right? It's probably going to, is that correct? Am I right?
No,
right, and then you've got a squad of 44. So you've got a squad of 44, really. So you pretty much got to come up with nearly 1,000 players. You got to come up with, right? You're draining it, and it's just like the AFLW, right? They haven't got enough players to satisfy these 18 teams. You can see the quality from the top to the bottom. For a league that wants to equalize everybody, they're actually doing the opposite. Again, this is another way of bringing in equalising it. And what they're going to do is they're going to top up. They get 2 years of drafts. They get the under 17s, right? And then the next year they get like 10 of the top 20 or whatever they do in that draft, right? Mate, you know they're going to like want this Tassie team to bloody succeed. So teams are going to suffer for it. You know what I mean? You know what it's almost like? You ever been like with Foxtel or another thing, and then they do this, they do a special promotion where they go, oh, we'll give every new member like 6 months free fucking thing, right? Or whatever, you know? And then you ring them up and you go, oh, I've been a customer of yours for like 20 years. Do I get the same deal? Oh, no. You're loyal, but we're not going to give you that deal. We're only going to give it to the new people. This is exactly the same. We've been in the competition 150 years, 100 years, whatever. They're going to go, oh, wait. No. Stuff all of yous. We're going to now satisfy these younger ones because we want them to succeed. You know what I mean? They would love Tassie to win a grand final in the next 5 years, or 5 years after that. They would love it. What about all the suffering Carlton and bloody Essendon and St Kilda and all them? Like, well, why don't we get the same sort of, you know, like, I don't know, man.
Because you already got the established fan base. You're already a big club.
They've already got us. They've already got us.
That's right. They got you where they got the Magpies, they got the Carlton, Richmond. Over the last, say, 5, 6, maybe the last 10 years, they've become sort of, you know, the club that they've become. I mean, okay, the Bombers. We're not going to talk about the Bombers. They're just a dead club. It's maybe I reckon they should say, you know what, we'll go on the limb. Fuck the Bombers. Let's bring Tasmania in. We'll give the Bombers a couple of years to try and build themselves up, you know, drug money, get some more players, this and that, and then we might bring them back in. Maybe that might work. I don't know. That's just an idea.
There's a good comment there, Rocco, from I think the Rambo or something about maybe in the future, do you possibly see some teams maybe merging? You know, obviously with Fitzroy and South Melbourne, and maybe, you know, the way things are going, it could possibly happen.
I doubt it they'll ever merge because they want 20 teams, I think. I think that's their goal. They want the 20 teams, so they won't ever merge them. And I think after the after the Brisbane, and North Melbourne almost merged before that. After the Brisbane with Fitzroy, it will never happen again. They will never merge two teams again. They will keep propping them up. You know, like at the end of the day, what? So team doesn't make money, what are they going to do? They're just going to prop you up. They're not going to do anything about it, you know. Like, this is what I mean. Like, this competition is probably one of the great games of the world, but probably one of the most uneven competitions there is in the world, the way they do it with their fixturing, with the way they do their drafting, the way they try to prop up teams, the way they bring teams from you know, interstate now with Tassie and all that. They're just trying to bloody make more and more money, and they just don't care about. Look, at the end of the day, you know what I want? I want an even competition, whatever that takes. That's what I want. Because then I don't want excuses. I want to say we all played each other twice. I don't know if you can. Not anymore. It's too much, right? But I want an even competition. And with things like this and the Tassie and the gather round, you're just making it uneven, people. Like, don't they see that? Don't they see them making it uneven? Like, they don't care. The AFL are incompetent. They are one of the worst run organisations. They're so lucky. They're so lucky that they've got the greatest game in the world. They're so lucky. Because if they were running anything else, it would go broke. If they were running Carlton, it would go broke. If they were running a business, it would go broke the way they deal with stuff. You know what I mean? How about we worry about bloody getting umpiring right instead of bloody confusing the umpires, and now they're making mistake after mistake because there's so many rule changes. You know what I mean? How about getting that right? You know what I mean? How about getting the technology right with all the money that you're given? You know what I mean? How about you put free to air games on a Saturday night for the people to watch free to air instead of you people got to pay? You know, how about you do that? How about you subsidize some of the memberships everyone's struggling. How about with your $1 billion instead of like clubs every year just keep pounding more and more on there? How about we get that fixed? You know, how about we get grassroots football fixed? How about we get that so then we can get more players at a better level? How about we do that? How about we just do certain fucking things that help the competition and not worry about the end result, which is the bucks at the end of the dollar, right? And making money is fair enough. Make your fucking money, but spend it wisely. Spend it wisely. Don't go spending it on bullshit like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Rocco. And this is going to be a big, big problem. Ideally, you know what would be nice? Ideally, would be nice to have both have every single team play each other twice.
Can you do that?
Well, why can't they do it? You look at the English Premier.
That would make let's say the 18. That would make 36 games for the year. Can you sustain 36 games?
Well, why not? Look at the English Premier League.
Be hard.
Yeah, it's a different game, man. Like I think it's a tough competition to do 36 games.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it'd go way too long in the year. But then also like or if you double up and play games like twice a week, it's
But it's done in a way where it's
the toll it takes on your body. I reckon it's too much.
All right. So let's just say they're not playing each other twice. The problem you've got is they've got it set up where they don't care about what teams are going to play as long as they get the big clubs playing against each other. So they'll get Collingwood is going to play Carlton twice, for example. They'll get Collingwood to play Richmond twice, for example. They get Collingwood to play Geelong twice because they know these are the big money makers. You know what I mean? That's what they do.
How is that fair?
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's
I mean, if we've got to play Collingwood twice this year, we're cool.
They're designing it to be able to make sure that certain teams are going to be more successful than others. Right now, they don't give a shit about the Carltons. They don't give a shit about the Bombers. Even now, you're going to see if Collingwood over the next 6 to 12 months is slowly going to start going backwards with all the geriatrics we got on board. I'm telling you, they're going to be licking their lips because they're going to be saying, you know what? They've got the members, they've got the supporters. Let's try and push these other little teams, interstate teams. Let's try and set them up the way we want to set them up. That's what it is. It's about making money and it's a business. And once we all accept it, that's what it is. But for us, we don't look at it that way. We look at it as the passion that we have for our club. We love the club. We don't give a fuck about the AFL. The AFL can stick it up their ass. It's the fact that we care and we love our club. We love our colours. Yeah? Now, can you imagine Rocco not thinking one day in his life or speak to anyone about Carlton Football Club for one day? Forget it. Forget it.
Before we go on, because we got a big sook in the bloody chat. So Big Seb, a member of 34 months, he wanted me to read it. He was spamming me because he doesn't get enough airtime with Blue Sunday being behind the panel talking all through the TV. He doesn't get enough talking. But here we go. We are living in the Matrix. Thank God for Gather Round. One less game I have to watch in person. Hit the like button, guys. Free Bros and Yoda. All right.
Free Bros and Yoda.
So, thanks, Seba. You're a star. 34 months of being so you should, your family, you fucking little squirm.
Is that right? Is he family?
Seba.
Yeah.
Well, indirectly, yes, because he's Mars's brother, as everyone knows.
Right. Okay.
And Mars
of course. Of course, you're
getting married to my daughter. So that makes him indirectly
family.
A family-in-law.
Yeah, you poor bastard.
I am a poor bastard.
Yeah.
I would never have thought that I would be related to Big Seba. That's like that would be the last thing on my mind. But unfortunately, sometimes shit happens to you that you can't do nothing about, and you got to live with it.
Well, I actually like Seba because he's not afraid to speak the truth. Yeah. It was fantastic. It was fantastic to see Mark last week truly open up and, get emotional and be honest about how he felt about the way his club has hurt him over the years and all that. And that was really nice. I mean, I can tell you right now, there were ladies that were watching the show that were tearing up. They really were tearing up because they felt sorry for poor Mark. But you got to like Seba, because Seba's not afraid. Seba's not afraid to sit there and say it how it is. If his club's not doing well, he says we're shit. We're shit, then we're shit. And that's what you want. You want honesty.
All right, enough about Seba. He's probably fucking like now sitting back, combing his hair back like this, thinking that he's a star. Shut up, Seba. You're an idiot. But he loves you guys. All right, can I he does, he loves everyone. I want to talk about something else which is a bit interesting. Which one should I talk about?
Well,
I reckon this one's an interesting one.
Yeah.
16 million over 8 years, and it looks like Richmond is the forerunner there at the front, ready to take control and paying $16 million. That's $2 million a year for 8 years for Butters. Do we think that that's a good deal? Do you think that this is now the norm? And the last question I'm going to ask people is he worth $2 million? And tell me something. Who is worth $2 million in the competition? Who would you pay $2 million to come to your club? His Butters one of them. I'm going to go straight to like Liam, the man who's now been linked to this. He's the one who's organising the deal. What do you reckon, mate? Are you happy with? Just say this does come to fruition. Are you happy with that?
Well, I do have a bit of an inside scoop on this one that I'll get to. But first of all, I think when we spoke about it maybe last season about who we wanted to get in, I said if we could get any free agent coming up, I'd pick Zach Butters. So if this does happen, yeah, I'd be super stoked. And as far as the money that we're paying him, we do have some money ready to go to attack and launch into a free agent. Clearly, by the links and from the sources that we're hearing, Butters is the man that we're targeting. Fair enough. I mean, I think we should probably go after a key forward or a key ruck first. But to be honest, we could use a good player in any position because we all suck. So, but yeah, as far as for the little inside scoop though on Zach Butters, I've actually spoke with someone from his family, close with his family, and the word is he won't be sticking around at Port Adelaide. He's definitely coming back here. His preferred destination is the Bulldogs. He wants to go to the Bulldogs. He likes a lot of the players there. He grew up supporting them as a kid. They're close to where his family is at the moment. If the deal can be struck, he'll be a Bulldogs player next year. And from the sources that I've had in the past, when it's from family, it's usually pretty spot on. So I would say, as much as I want to get excited about him coming to us, I reckon he'll be at the Bulldogs next year.
Wow, this is a TJP exclusive, Rocco.
Yeah, I found this out a couple of weeks ago. I got chatting with a bloke down from Bacchus Marsh, where he's from. So he also knows Lawler a bit as well, which is cool. And I asked him about Butters. I said, what do you reckon? He said if he gets his choice, he's coming home and he's playing for the Bulldogs.
Wow.
Look, Bulldogs would be a good side for him because he'll fit nicely into that midfield, you know what I mean? Playing along the bonds and that, man, it'd be good. Geelong's and we are in the race as well. And yes, Butters is worth $2. I would pay $3. This is the question. I'm going to ask Marco this, right? Is he worth $2 million? And is any player, if any, worth $2 million a year over an 8 year? That's $16 million. And this is not giving someone like, say, a Walsh, which possibly is too long anyway, but giving him 8 years, but he'd be on 1.2, 1.3, whatever he'd be on, you know, he's not on 2. 2 million's a lot of money, man. 2 million is a lot of money. What do you reckon, Marco?
Yeah, well, you know, I look at it, to be quite honest, how can a club afford $2 million? I mean, for a player. I mean, the Bulldogs, honestly, you know, $2 million, mate. I mean, $2 million is a lot of money to pay a player.
Yeah.
The bonds. You got all these good players are playing at the Bulldog at the moment. So what do? underpay these players, or how do they fit $2 million into a cap? Unless it's like the old paper brown bags, mate, that they used to do at the Blues there. $2 million per year for 8 years. How can clubs afford it? I mean, it doesn't work. It's all bullshit, to be quite honest. And I don't think any player deserves $2 million at this stage. Not one player.
I'm going to go around and I want to hear the people in the chat, and there's already a few that have been out there. Who is worth $2 million, Marco? Who would you take for $2 million to your club?
No player. I wouldn't take any player for $2 million. No player is worth $2 million. Sorry to say. Nah, none of them. None of them are worth $2 million, mate.
You mean to tell me you're telling me that Bontempelli is not worth $2?
So we
not for 8 years. Not for 8 years, Manny. Not for 8 years.
Are you telling me that Sir Nicholas Dacos is not worth $2 million?
No. No player is worth $2 million.
You've been licking your lips. But you know the problem. You know the problem is. The problem is a player is only their value is only good in how well they perform, and the only way they're going to perform well is if they're in there playing for the right team, right? You got to look at that because I'm really curious because I'm curious to see, right? Because last year, at the end of the year, everybody was saying that the $2 million team Sekilda. And look at this. Maybe in a couple of years' time, Sekilda might be up there because they're going to work hard to create a team that's going to be playing around these $2 million players. But there's some big stars there, and those ones that are worth a lot of money, they're always going to go to the clubs that have been successful. Now Bontempelli, to be fair, he's established well with the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs are a hot property right now. Yeah, they are hot property. So, and look at this that actor that you guys had in your team last year. What's his name? Draper. Yeah,
yeah.
He's now gone to Brisbane, all right, and he looks like a superstar. Yeah, so it goes to show you that you don't have to be a $2 million player to be successful if you go to a successful club. But more to the point, there are players that are worth $2 million, and there are players that are worth more than $2 million. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the way things are going at the moment, with the way they're kind of saying what players are worth, if it's $2 million, Manny, that's what you're saying is $2 million. But I wouldn't be paying somebody $2 million per year for 8 years. It's too much of a commitment, mate. To be honest, man, you're going to ruin your club. I'm telling you right now. Richmond, if they go and spend $2 million a year, and some of their gun players start performing in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to want some pay packet too, mate. So to fuck up the salary cap, it's too. It's an overcommitment.
Scotty makes a good point. They'll be getting a larger cap soon anyway. So looking at a prime player for $2 million won't seem so silly. Yeah. So what's happening is the cap is getting bigger. So because of that, money is going to go up. As far as who would be, I mean, everyone's saying nearly the same person here, and Manny's about to explode in his pants. But everyone's been saying, I think Nick Dacos is worth $2 million a year. I think teams would pay Nick Dacos. He's a game changer. People are also saying Bontempelli.
He'd be the other one.
Yeah, he'd be worth $2 million. But the difference is, I was talking to my son today about this. The difference is you wouldn't give him 8 years. So I was saying, imagine Bonds, and he's already in that premiership window, right? But imagine Bonds would go to another club, say a Hawthorn or something that's right maybe in there in that premiership window, and you give him 2 years for $2 million a year. That could be worth it because he could be a difference between winning a premiership and not. So he's worth it. It's only the difference in years. Someone like a Dacos, you'd give him 8 years because he's still young and he's definitely winning. But how many other players is there that are worth $2 million? This is the thing. This is interesting. How many players? Is Butters worth $2 million?
Yeah. Well, is he a premiership player? You got to look at those aspects as well. Is he a premiership player? How many best and fairest has he won? You know what I mean? So $2 million is a lot of money to be forking out as a commitment for 8 years. Way too much.
We go back to what you said, Rocco. We go back to what Rocco said, that you need to have a huge pool of super class players, all right, superstars, to be able to have this AFL game to keep itself established. Now, as Rocco said, you got 19 teams, you got 40 players in each team. So, well, that's about 800 players, for example. But out of those 800, you want to at least have at least 10% of them to be superstars. You'd want at least 10% of them, yeah? And that's what it is. And because there's only that 10% of superstars in there, you want the teams that have got the money, that are when I say they've got the money, the teams that are doing well, as Rocco mentioned, Hawthorn. I mean, right now, why wouldn't you want to go to play for Hawthorn? Hawthorn's probably potentially the team that's going to win the flag over the next couple of years, for sure. Yeah? So this is where you're going to get superstars. When I say superstars, A-grade players that want to go to play for these teams. Yeah? Because look at the players that left Essendon. Because Essendon made a lot of mistakes. They got rid of good players, good established players, and they've gone to other teams. Like what's his name has gone to GWS, yeah, and he's doing really, really well. You've got Draper that's gone to Brisbane. He's doing really, really well. So it goes to show you that there's a cultural problem at the Essendon Football Club. Truly, there's a cultural problem because you got the talent, but you haven't got the right people to get the best out of this talent. Yeah. So that's the problem.
It'll be a big problem. I've got a question that someone put up there. I've got a good question that someone, I reckon we can have a bit of a debate about, and it would be, where was it? But anyway, the question was, Bonds or Dacos into your team right now?
Oh,
I'd say Bontempelli.
I'd probably take Dacos right now. I think just for the age.
No, fuck the age.
We can build with Dacos. Same with others.
Who's a better player right now? Who's a better player, Bonds?
Yeah,
Nick might become a better player. Who's a better player? Who's going to be more of a match winner, Bonds or Dacos? I haven't got an answer. I'm just putting.
I think Bontempelli.
If it's just for the better player, I'll take Bond.
Yeah.
I like him better.
He's getting better, isn't he? In his old age, man. Like not really old, but Bond right now. Yeah, people are saying Bond right now. But
just a couple things on the big deal that we're offering. I think Scotty made the point in the chat of the salary cap is increasing, so it's hard to judge who is worth $2 million. Like, because right now it seems like it's a weird thing, but 10 years ago, $1 million for a player was a big thing. I think now there's 50 or 60 players getting $1 million plus a year. The more concern is the 8 years. That would be more my concern about these big. If it takes $2 million a year to get him to us, yeah, I understand that. But for 8 years, I don't know what's going to happen in 8 years. What's to say we don't do good for 4 or 5 years and he wants to swap again?
That's the problem. It depends on where you're at. It depends on where you're at. Like it's where you're at.
But I don't know where we're going to be at in 8 years. It's hard to say.
Well, but you don't want him in 8 years. I think the 8 years is just to secure him. You want him in 4 years. You know what I mean? You want him in 3 years when your young kids develop, and then you've got Butters running at 28 through the middle, and you've got, Lola, and you've got all them running around. That's what you'll be. The 8 years, I think, it's just like Walsh. The 8 years, it doesn't mean that he's going to be at the, at prime in 8 years' time. That's just to secure him. They've given him a couple of extra years just to secure him. That's all they've done. But you want him in 3 or 4 years. That's what you would want Butters for. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you guys one question then, while I'm thinking of it. On that, from way back when Lance Franklin, when Buddy went to Sydney, same thing, big deal at the time. I think it was 1.2 or something at the time. I don't know. 9 or 10 8 years. Would you say that was a success? Was his whole 8 years or whatever it was at Sydney really good?
This is a good question, because what do you say is success, right? Is it premierships, or is it winning Coleman medals, or is it selling jumpers, or is it getting people to the game, So what do you say is success? It all depends on what you think success. So if you think success is getting bums on seats and selling tops, right?
Yes.
Then it's success. He was very successful. If you're saying it's to get Sydney onto the map, very successful. They've done it always. They've always done it. Lockett, bloody Barry Hall,
Lloyd Kappa.
Kappa. They've always done it. So is that success? If you say that premierships, which I think we all agree on, is the ultimate success, right? Then no, it wasn't a successful operation, was it? What do you reckon?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what if we're paying up $2 million for 8 years for someone, I want us to be playing pretty good football.
You want a couple of premierships? I don't know if that's going to happen. You want at least 2 premierships out of that?
You'd want to see some success.
Yeah.
If we're making a move like that, that to me says we want to invest in our future and we want to be a successful team in our future. Because really, like, if we get him or not, I'm still going to go watch games. I'm still going to support us. Same as other supporters. We're still going to go to the game, still going to watch regardless who's there. Maybe it's different for other clubs, but I think for our teams, you guys are going to watch no matter who's there. You've said it before, Rocker. You support the jumper. You don't necessarily support the player.
No. If he goes like now, Curnow, I don't really give a shit about Curnow anymore, do I? I don't care. I don't care anymore. He's no more a Carlton player. I don't care. I hope he doesn't kick a goal for the rest of the year. To tell you the truth.
Well, that's not going to happen. But we go back to what we were saying earlier on. You're going to get a player like Zach Butters, who is not going to go to Richmond because Richmond is at least 4 or 5 years from building, and if they're going to be lucky to build, because you can look at other teams like Essendon, who's been building for the last 20 years, and they've been not successful at all. Carlton's been up and down struggling and not successful at all. So you're going to look at these players like Zach Butters. They're going to go to a club like the Bulldogs because they can see the Bulldogs at the moment are close to peaking. They're going to go to a club like Geelong, who has always been up there. So this is what it is. These players are smart because they're not, they're not players that are going to go into a club where they're going to try and get the whole team. Like look at St Kilda. They're paying all this big money now to try and get their team to be successful around 1 or 2 players. Forget about it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. There's a lot of hard work, and it's got to be, the team has to connect and has to be a good, it's not as easy as what it is. So,
how quickly would Butters? How quickly would they move Richmond? Like getting Butters into the midfield? How more quick? I don't even know how to say this, but how more quickly would you be advancing if you had Butters? See, that's where you look at. How quickly would he advance you?
That's what I mean. Like he's definitely going to come in and he'd make a massive impact on our midfield straight away. He's a player we really need in our team. But in terms of massive impact, like
16
is he going to take us straight from like dead last on the ladder where we're at in the moment straight into the finals in a season with one player?
Nah, keep dreaming.
I don't think it's just. I think Manny's kind of right. There's a bit more to it than just throwing cash at one player.
When you get someone like a Butters now, Butters is probably the guy they're talking about because he's probably the biggest free agent at the moment. But when you get someone like that now and he's got maybe 3 or 4 clubs after him, now he can start choosing where he wants to go. Because it's not about the money anymore, right? Because now he's going to get the money. So he knows he's going to get the money off all the clubs. Whoever wants him, he's going to pay him the money because now they've set it at 2 million and he'll get it. He'll get it if it's not one or the other. So it's now things. So for him now, it's not only like you say the Bulldogs, all right, and I agree at the moment, but the Bulldogs are up and down. Next year, they'll probably finish out of the 8. They do it every second year they do it. You know what I mean? You don't know what they're going to get. But then you get someone like Richmond, maybe got a good bunch of youngsters. He knows in 2 years' time they could set a dynasty with him in the side, So that's what he's got to decide. He doesn't know that yet. You just don't know. Does he go to like a Geelong, where Geelong are always up there? You know what I mean? Or, you know, like, does he go, like, I don't think he should come to Carlton now. I would like him, but for two reasons. I don't think we're at that stage anymore. We were. I think we've gone back now. So we're going to be years away from any sort of success. So if I was Butters, I'd be going, do I want to go there and be 3 or 4 years in the doldrum, right? So do I want to be there? Also, I don't think we should be paying him $8 million for 8 years, because I can't think that's not where we're at. We're not in that position to pay a player that sort of money, because what is that going to do for us? What is that going to do for us? You know what I mean? Again, it has to be the right team, someone who's up there, and he's going to elevate them from, you know, like top 4 to maybe premiership contender. That's what he's got to be thinking about. That extra elevation. That's what you need. I don't think we need him now. I always said I would love Butters to come in, but I reckon over the last, now especially this year, we've now, our position has completely changed for me. We're not in that contention anymore. Remember, we were talking, are you contenders? Remember, Mark? Or are you contending? Are you contenders? I don't think we're contenders, and I don't think we're contending now. So to get Butters and spend $2 million, I'll rather build our team from the inside now. I'd rather get your homegrown, build your players, build a team that's, first of all, plays a good brand of footy, right? Are playing for each other, are playing a good brand where we're winning games, where we're competing, and then what you do is you add someone like a Butters to it. But at the moment, to me, just like, and Carlton would do it. That's how dumb we are. We would do that. We would get him just to have the feel-good story. We've got Butters, and that'll be the new thing, you know, because Carlton is like a bit like Sydney, maybe, where you know, like success is bums on seats and selling tops. It's not premierships. So for them, they would get bums on seats, they would sell merch, and they would sell memberships. And for them, that's success. Bang, they get a tick, and everyone's happy. Everyone except for the supporters.
Yeah, I agree.
Just one more thing before we move on, just about those long-term contracts. And a couple of interesting ones for our teams, but third highest paid player this year in the AFL is Tom Lynch. Now, when he came in, he was obviously great, and we got 2 flags straight away. But I think this year he's on 1.5 million. He's injured at the moment. He literally lost the game for us in round 1. This is what I mean. It's a dangerous risk. Yes, it was great at the time, but because we've committed to it, we're now paying. Yeah, we're paying 1.5 million to a player who's sitting on the bench. But even guys on your team, like Rocker, you've mentioned Zach Williams' contract is back ended. He's on a big contract. He's not worth that much. Mark, you guys have got Ben Mackay, who's the 6th highest paid player in the league. I think he's at 1.3 mil.
Fucking
Is he the 6th best player in the league? No way.
So Tom Lynch is number 3. Who's number 2 and who's number 1? Who's number 2 then? Who's the 2nd highest paid player?
The two highest paid players are the Saints boys. So Wanganeen Malira at 2 mil, and then it's Tom de Koning. Tom de Koning's number 2, which is terrible. He's not even a top 10 ruck, I don't think.
They won't be successful because they're playing these players too much.
Nah.
What about the other players? What are they getting? 400, 500,000 a year? Because there is a cap, isn't there? I don't know. Is there still a cap there?
Yeah, it's like a salary, whatever it is.
But it's like, just looking at it,
like a Butters that goes to the Bulldogs, half of their players are going to have to take a pay cut. Is that right or not? Because they're all striving. They're all pretty good players now. You know, they're pretty much nearly premiership favourites. So the Bonts, the Nortons, the whatever, Darcy's, what they're going to be paid under $1 million a year? Come on.
Tell me something. 2 of the good sides this year, I think. And I think the best side is Brisbane. Full stop. They're the best side. Last night, I did a comparison between Carlton and Brisbane. That's where I aspire to be. That sort of side. This is where we're at. And I had a look, and maybe we could get 2 players from our team into their side. If we could do it right now, it'd probably be Wiedering and maybe Walsh. The rest would not get into that side. I don't care what anyone says, right? How many A graders have they got? You know, they've probably got 3, 4. The rest are like really good B graders. Then you get someone like a Hawthorn, right? They're a really good side. They play a good brand of footy, man. They're tough, mate. They're exciting, all that shit, or everything we want, right? How many A graders have they got? How many $2 million, $1 million players? Not even. Maybe.
Well, they got
2 or 3. I'm telling you, they haven't even got 2 or 3. They've got a lot of good B graders, a lot. And they've got a lot of C graders who can play B grader games, and they've got a lot of B graders who can play A games once in a while, right? But they play. How many have they got? You don't need these fucking $1 million players. You know what I mean? You don't need them. Maybe you can have 1 there or 1 or 2 that you've got and you're not going to get rid of. But outside of that, seriously, like players now are just playing for the money. Look, I've talked to. I'm good friends with Ange, and you know I talk to him on a weekly basis. He says the same thing, man. He goes, he doesn't understand these big contracts. He doesn't understand them. Maybe he's out of the game too long now, and he just doesn't get it. He said for his last 5 or 6 years. Remember, I've said this before. This bloke was premiership player, all Australian, right? One of the blokes, right, who probably was one of the best backmen at the time going around. Everyone wanted Ange Christou. He had a chance to go to Geelong, and he knocked it back to stay at Carlton, and they were offering big money at the time, right? That's how committed he was, right? That bloke there, not only all Australian, fucking team of the century for Carlton, all of that, right? I don't think he's team of the century, but he would be now. He was on a 1-year contract every year. Every week, he said, right, this is an all-Australian. He was worried he was going to get dropped. Every week, he was scared he was going to get dropped if he didn't do enough. That's what you need. Now we're getting players, right? And I'll just talk about my side, never going to get dropped. Mackay, you can be as shit as you want. You're the same. Mark, Mackay for you. You can be as shit as you want. We're not dropping you. You know why?
We're paying too much.
The big money. We don't care. We won't drop you. You know, this week now we'll talk about Carlton later, but they dropped Hewitt, right? And I agree that he should have been dropped because he hasn't been playing well. But big selection news. You know, that bombshell. Dropping Hewitt isn't a bombshell. Like, what are you doing, mate? That's no big deal, man. And this is the problem. We will never drop those players because they pay them too much. Your team should be even, right? Everyone should be playing for each other, and everyone should be on roughly the same money, and maybe a couple that are above, and your team's happy to pay them because you know they're going to get you over the line. I'll give you an example. You can say whatever you want about Dacos, and I think Collingwood's a fucking shit club. All your supporters are dogs, everything. But Dacos, I'm telling you now, the Collingwood players will be happy to pay him more because they know what he brings to that side. They know, right? And maybe the Goey, because at the time, you know, like they paid him a bit of money. But the rest, I guarantee the Collingwood side, I don't think there's too many players that are on $1 million. They're pretty even paid, but you would pay Dacos more for sure, right? But he does the output, right? But we've got players that are paying 1.4, $1 million, $1 million. They're never going to drop these players. I think it's wrong. I don't care what you should get paid. You should get dropped if you're not performing, but they won't drop it because imagine you're paying. They say this about Zach Williams, right? They won't drop him. He got injured. They brought him back this week. They won't drop him. You know why? 1.4 million they're paying him. How can you not play him? How can you not play him? And imagine trying to justify that, right? Same with you, Marco. 1.4 million for your fucking shit Mackay there. How can you justify him playing in the reserve for 1.4 million? Mm-hmm. So you'll keep a shit player there with shit performances just to keep everyone happy. Hey, we're never going to get anywhere, bro, if that's the mentality.
Boom.
Everyone's in agreement. That's it. When we get to that point there and everyone's nodding their heads, we all agree. De Goey is cooked at the moment. I don't think he's doing well. He's not at the best at the moment. And at the time they paid him the money.
Old and cooked. Cooked and old, whatever you want to call it.
He's a Collingwood player. That's their motto.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
You know what? I reckon we need to get into some rivalry here, and let's get into the rivalry round, and this is when the big boys or the little boys at the moment play against other teams and seem to be losing. But we had a few games. Let's talk about them. Talking about Collingwood. Marco, you're going to like this. 119 to 65. They got absolutely finished off. They weren't. Yes.
Back to reality there, mate. That scoreline far out.
Yep, Dacos was a late withdrawal. I think they were talking more about Dacos during
that was awesome.
Mate, they were talking about Dacos every 2 minutes, like the commentary was that they kept showing him and talking about him. Like, shut up, man, just worry about the game. But anyway, it was 119 to 65, pretty much from start to finish. It was all Brisbane. They absolutely dominated. They showed how good they are. They showed how many stars they got in that side and how well coached they are. And before I'll go on to Manny and maybe I reckon Marco's going to have a few things to say. Mate, coach makes a difference. Coach fucking makes a difference, man. I'll tell you now, I saw Fagan at one stage. They would have been 6 or 7 or 8 goals in front, and he's on the boundary line, and he was yelling at the players, and he was pointing. And this is when they're in front, mate. Coach matters, man. And the way they coach, the way they're moving that ball around, the way they're dangerous, yeah, they're the team to beat. You saw the game, Manny. What did you think?
No, I agree with you, Rocco. It's definitely a team that has been dominating, and the proof is in the pudding. We beat them. We beat them 3 years ago, and maybe we were lucky to beat them 3 years ago. But, they're a club that has continued to establish themselves. And all I can say is that, look, at the moment, it doesn't help when you have late withdrawal, as you said, about Nick Dacos. I don't know whether it's just bad management at the moment because, apparently this was something that was happening during the whole week. So anyway, makes a big difference when you haven't got a playmaker like Nick Dacos on the day, and of course we had Darcy Moore and Scott Pendlebury who also missed out. So these are sure enough. I know that Mark is sitting there and he's saying you want to brag about Scott Pendlebury, who's a geriatric. You know what?
I didn't say he was a geriatric.
He's one of those players that he can do, like he get on there for 20 minutes and do something that's going to be really, really, amazing. But it's also the fact that he's there as a coach on the ground. He talks a lot, and that's what it is when you've got a team that's got a lot of young players that are coming on board slowly. And at the moment, we've got to admit that some of these young players that are coming on board, it's going to be trial and error for us. It is going to be trial and error. But moving to the game.
Before you go on, we just got Golkan. He's just got a little message there for you. Three little violins.
No pies for Maui. Maui.
There you go, Manny.
How many years have I been playing the violin and you guys can't get it right?
Mate, it's been used against you tonight, mate. You've been called out.
You put me to sleep, Manny. You put me to sleep, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the unfortunately the withdrawal of Nick Dacos didn't help. We got beaten in stoppages, and it was proven. They were beating us 131 to 93. Their forward dominance that totally killed us. It was just a game where they truly have. When you look at the first couple of games, the way they played, you're thinking, oh, maybe this is the end of the Lions. But full credit to them, they are a team that is slowly coming back. They did that last year, didn't they? When they lost the first 4, or the first 5 games. There was 5. They were 5-1, and then they end up winning the flag. But look, high pressure game by Brisbane, and look, we were outbeaten. I can't sit there and try and sugarcoat something that, it's it is what it is. We definitely didn't play the right game, and full credit to them. But it goes to show you that you had Brisbane who brought in they had Sam Draper. Who would have thought Sam Draper was going to be one of the players that was going to be dominating on the day? But Sam Draper, he played very, very well. It's just look, I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you why Collingwood played well, because they didn't play well. Brisbane just dominated, and it was a high pressure game, and it was simple as that.
Collingwood done well.
I think,
before you go on, we just got a message here, and it just reminded me of something. Where is no regrets?
Hang on. I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was a comment from last week's show left underneath, and it was from No Regrets.
Yes.
Was it?
And he said, I've got it here. He's got Manny picks Lions, couple laughing faces. No chance Lions beating Pies. From No Regret, that was his comment. This was before the game.
Serious?
He was bagging out.
No regrets again with your absolute rubbish. Where are you, mate? Where are you?
He's
after the shows are done.
Rocco, he's afraid to. Sadly, he's afraid to overexpose himself, because you're a very strong character, and he's very fearful of you.
I'll take a screenshot.
I am a very strong character. It doesn't stop you from coming on every week.
Oh yeah, but look, Rocco, you're talking about me. It's going to take at least 5-6 Roccos to try and intimidate me, mate. I'm an old school Greek, mate. So you just remember that, right? Remember, we introduced sex to you Italians, and then you guys introduced it to your wives. Okay, remember that.
Hey, listen, I want to know quickly. They just No Regrets is now crybaby. Hey, listen, guys. I don't want to be now charged for bullying, because the way society's going now, you'll probably put in a claim for bullying.
You might be taunting, mate. There we go.
I'm going to pass this over to Mark, because I know Mark will have a few things to say about the Collingwood team. But are you really worried about this, Manny? Is this the start of the end for Collingwood? I know it's only one game, but it's really pathetic.
Well, you can't say it's one game, Rocco, because you look at the couple other games. We really haven't had our players like Degoe, for example. Where he should be dominating at least 3 out of the 4 quarters, or showing some type of. It's just the team at the moment it's not gelling. There's as McRae always says, that there's systems in place, and at the moment these systems they're not they're not performing to the systems that they should be. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Can Collingwood improve? I think they can, surely. But you're talking about prior to the season starting that we had a really good pre-season. Well, okay, we've had a good pre-season, but I don't know. At the moment I can't see it. I'm being honest, I can't see it, and I think the next 4 weeks will truly show whether we're able to change things around, or we're just basically not good enough for this year.
Yeah. We've got a few Collingwood supporters. They said they're bloody worried. Get the youngsters in. We were found out by a genuine flag contender. There you go. I didn't know that. Oh, look at that. He does. He plays 99. That's why they kept him out. The little shit. I'm telling you, this is all a ploy to get him to play his 100th against Carlton.
Well, believe it or not, he actually had coffee with Ange Christou a couple of weeks ago, and Ange Christou told him something that he did many years ago. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe you know something about it.
what Ange did was absolutely true.
Well, there
He
you go.
faked an injury so
There
he
you
could
go.
play his
Right.
100th or 150th at home.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. Marco, what do you reckon? Collingwood's they're done and dusted, should they, or you reckon they're still a contender?
No, they're not contending or contenders for anything at the moment, mate. I think, I would have thought maybe Collingwood would have been a lot closer due to the fact that they played quite well interstate, Manny. But I did predict Brisbane by 35 points, and they pretty much showed that. But yeah, mate, just quickly, I think no Dacos, mate. There's no Collingwood, and you guys are going to be in a bit of trouble because I think he's going to go to Tassie. So you're stuffed, mate. You're gone. Your team's too old and too young. You've got nothing in the mix there, and I think you guys are going to pay for that down the track, knowing that most of these players, your Pendleburys and your side bottoms and Elliott's and the Gowies and so forth, they'll be gone in the next year or two, I think. And you guys will struggle because Dacos will go to Tassie, and you guys need to really start considering, getting some draft picks because obviously Tassie's coming into the comp. So, mate, I do bag you boys being Jerry Actions and so forth, but Brisbane did bring you guys back to life, or back to earth, sorry. And so I just think Collingwood in some serious problems, mate. You've got some older players that I think won't last the season. I think your coach was saying that Pendlebury will be playing this week.
Yeah, I think
you might have a bit of an issue with your list, mate. I think you haven't got enough fit players as well. They're the risking players. I did that with Moore last week. He got injured, and I think with Pendles coming into the side, and even Dacos, I think they're going to put him into the side too this week. I think they're desperate. They're desperate, mate, because I think it's very important that they need to get this win this week. So, mate, your players are getting a lot older, and I think you guys need to do something very quick because I think you're going to lose Dacos in the next couple of years.
Well, he's contracted for the next 4 years with Collingwood.
Oh, who gives a shit about contracts these days, Manny, mate? You can leave, mate.
Yeah.
They'll offer him $2.5 million, mate. Not $2 million. They'll offer him $2.5 million.
I don't know if you can.
Well, you know what?
The AFL is giving a bonus if he goes over to.
Yeah. They'll mark my words, Manny, mate. He's going to Tassie, mate, for the dollars, mate. He's going for the dollars. I'm telling you right now. There's no loyalty in clubs anymore, mate. $2 million, they'll go. It's not about winning premierships anymore, mate. They want to go to another club.
What's there to say that Collingwood won't offer him the same deal?
Well, they might, but I think it'd be a fresh start for him because he'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that most of these players, the experienced old players, are starting to leave the club, either be in retirement or just not going to be suited to the team anymore. And he'll make a decision and say, I'm fucking out of here before it gets any worse. So
why is it going to get worse?
No Dacos, no Collingwood, mate.
Why is it going to get worse? I don't know. I don't think
you're making sense. Get worse before it gets better, Manny, because what I just said to you before, quite clearly, your team is made up of too old and too young. You've got nothing in between. So that's where it's going to cost you guys a little bit down the track. So you're going to be in trouble.
I think we may struggle maybe over the next couple of years, but I don't think we're at a stage where we're going to be worried about losing someone like Nick Dacos. No.
Mark my words, mate. Nostradamus has spoken. He'll go to Tassie, mate. I'm telling you right now. They'll pay him whatever he wants.
Do you think that Nathan is correct here? In a long term, Dacos will make far more money staying at Collingwood than going to
Tasmania.
Could do.
Yeah, of course.
So it's about money. So you're saying, Mark, that's it.
He won't want to stay.
He's definitely gone, 100%.
He'll be gone, mate. He doesn't want to stay. He won't want to stay, mate. Give him a couple of years when Tassie's going. If they give him the Spundulis, mate, he'll go.
I think at the end of the day, Mark, I think where you're getting it wrong is, and I'll be happy to be corrected in years to come. But you're talking about a young talent that's probably one of the biggest talents in the AFL at the moment, who's playing at one of the most successful, if not the most successful club, right, in the AFL, close second to maybe or even first to Carlton, right? Now, why would he want to be leaving a club like Collingwood where he's going to be treated like royalty? Because you've got to remember something. Remember something. He's going to be successful wherever he plays. You got to remember something.
No.
Collingwood, Collingwood, the Dacos name goes hand in hand. It does. Okay.
So it's a Silvani name as well,
it
mate.
goes. No. But
Okay.
no. It's very different because Peter Dacos is a legend. He's a legend at the Collingwood Football Club.
Yeah.
Right. And both of his boys are going to be well established in that club for a very, very long time.
Can I give you one name, Manny?
Of course.
Gary Ablett.
Yeah.
Gary Ablett was a bigger star than Peter Dacos. Let's be honest. Probably the top 3 players in the competition ever. Yeah. His son probably better than him. Probably better. Probably better. I mean, he's won flags, he's won Brownlows, he's done all of that, but probably better, right?
Yeah.
He left for Gold Coast, and the name Ablett lives at Cardinia Park there, right? So
but not. No.
This thing about he won't leave. Look, I don't know if he's going to leave, right?
I don't think he
will. This thing about he won't leave because mate, that doesn't hold up anymore. Mate, I'm telling you, Gary Ablett Jr., probably one of the best players, left Geelong after winning premierships and everything, man, and went for the money. So this thing about
Manny, nothing against Peter Dacos, mate, but he wasn't Collingwood's best player, mate, too, Doc. You know, we wrap it all up, you know, the Dacos boys, you know, the Macedonian Marvel, you know, look, don't forget he was a freak at kicking goals, but he wasn't their best player in those times. Mate. So,
who?
Peter Dacos. Peter Dacos
wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was just a freak of a player in kicking goals, but he wasn't. You're not comparing him to Gary Ablett, are you now? Are you or Peter McKenna or?
Are you serious? Are you serious?
No, I am serious.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. I reckon you need to stick to security doors because you've got no idea about football.
Yeah, it's just because he was the Macedonian Marvel. I get it, man. Don't get me wrong, Manny. You know what I mean? Look, but really,
he was a freak of
the players in that generation. There was a lot more better players than Peter Dacos. Hey, come on,
mate. Don't look at the players nowadays that are playing on grounds that are like carpet, mate. Talk about players that were playing on grounds that were Rocco will tell you these grounds.
That's what I'm referring to, man. You're drifting off here.
And I can tell you, Peter Dacos is going to go to history as one of the legends of the game. He's one of the legends of the game.
One of the legends of the game, yeah. But I wouldn't compare him to Gary Ablett. Who would you say your best 3 players? Lee Matthews, Gary Ablett.
Oh, you know? Lee Matthews was an elite player and a premiership player, and a very successful coach. Yeah, Lee Matthews probably one of the best. Peter Dacos is definitely one of those players that goes into that category. Yeah. So, you know, but
can I say one thing on Gary Ablett Jr.?
Yeah.
Just another little inside scoop. I actually got to go watch him speak a couple of years ago with Jezza. And obviously one of the things that came up was the move from Geelong to Gold Coast. And he put it honestly. He said, in my time at Geelong, I've achieved a lot. You know, I got my couple premierships. I won my Brownlow. I love the club. I wanted to stay there. He's like, but I kind of like the appeal of a new challenge and something different up in the Gold Coast. And he was honest as well. He said about the money. He said it was a really good offer. It was really big, and it was almost too good to refuse. So just something to think about. Just something to think about with this Nick Dacos to Tassie. Money does talk. Maybe he's looking for a new challenge as well. No. There's more to it. He could want to go be captain at another team. There's
being captain of the Tasmanian team that wins its first flag.
He'll be captain of the Collingwood Football Club.
Yeah, but that doesn't say the same appeal of you. Yeah. It's like the first man that walked on the moon, right?
I know it's hard.
First man that walked on the moon, right? Was
Well, I think that
Neil
was all
Armstrong?
fake, wasn't it?
Who?
Was it Neil? Was it
Was it?
Buzz?
Oh,
Was it
wasn't
Buzz?
some bloke?
It was.
It was Neil Armstrong, but Buzz was the second man. But that's what
Yeah.
I mean. Neil Armstrong will always be the first man to walk on the moon. No
think it
matter
was
how many
actually
people
Russian
walked in
bloke.
after that, and this will be the same
Rocco.
appeal that Paddy.
Rocco,
that
you're
Paddy-
basing everything. You're basing everything on a hypothetical. Everything's hypothetical. Yeah, he's already established himself at the Collingwood Football Club. He's a
So why does
premiership
he have to
player.
establish himself more? Like why?
Well, anyway, he'll be, like
Why
I said,
another challenge? Why
he
another
will
challenge?
be-
Being
he
the
will
captain of
be
the
the
That's what-
legend of the football club. He's
He'll
going
always
to
be a legend of the football club
Mate,
because he's a
mate.
premiership captain.
Yeah,
Sorry, a premiership player.
mate. He will go down the history books as one of the greatest players to play the game, one of the greatest players to play for the most successful club in the AFL. That's it. All right. Now I know you guys are trying, you're hoping, and you're bopping, and you're weaving. And Mark, you got to look at the smile on Mark's face, mate. You know what? You could try. You know what?
I'm just going to grab another one of those fucking Easter eggs, mate. Hold on, I'm just going to grab another one of those Easter eggs, mate. It's
As
getting
I
past
said,
the
one example is Gary Ablett Jr. He was exactly the same as Ablett. As Dacos. There was no difference.
It's
He was
true.
Brownlow. He was premiership. His dad was one of the greatest at the club, and he left. He left.
Well,
So don't say that there's no chance.
I think his dad left even though he was a great player for the Geelong Football Club. I think he had a bit of a fallout with the Geelong Football Club for a number of years because he had disappeared for a while. He had disappeared for a while.
Had a fallout, but
Yeah,
that's
no.
Gary Ablett.
You do a little bit of history on that, and you'll see that he did have a bit of a fallout
He had a
with the
fallout.
club.
I think Gary Ablett they're very quiet, secluse. Is that the word? Secluse, where they just, even Gary Ablett Jr., they're very religious. Gary Ablett Sr. has just come out recently and done some political stuff. He's trying to go against the government and that, but he's always been like that. So I don't think that was the issue. And when Gary Ablett Jr. was at the club, I don't think there was any issue with Gary Ablett Sr. He was still going to see his son in the club rooms and everything. So I think that's incorrect, right? So that's got nothing to do with it, right? So anyway, look, I'm not the one saying it. I'm just putting it out there. Marco's the one that says that he's leaving for sure. Reclusive, is that the word?
But
Is that the word, reclusive? You know me. Come on. And before we go on, because we do have to move on, and you could talk and say there was a great comment here. I reckon this could be the comment of the night. I'm going to find it. I loved it. Keep going, guys. What were you going to say?
no,
You were going to say something, weren't you?
was
What's
it?
it?
Oh.
Anyway, here it goes. If Dacos goes to Tassie, his kids will go under the cousin rule.
No. That's cheeky.
Very good. We are such funny people here. Jesus Christ, we're amusing. There was another game. This one was a very disappointing game.
Hey, the shades.
Very disappointing game.
Lost
Again,
it.
another lead. 20 points with 10 minutes to go. Another lead, and then just let it go to. I think they kicked the last 5 goals to finish off the Blues by 10 points after being 21. So, you can ask me questions. I've talked enough about this yesterday. We talked for like 3 hours, but the Blues just there's nothing there, man. There's nothing there. They're no leaders. They can't seem to hold the lead. The same pattern over and over and over again. It's just a pattern over and over and over again. So the best game to watch, was it? I mean, the Brisbane game beforehand was a pretty game to watch too, watching you get your pants pulled down. So just relax there.
Monday's game was awesome. That was good.
Look, if you want to talk
That was awesome.
pure,
Yeah, that was cool.
pure games that the Geelong Hawthorn game was just a pure right to the last second, win by a point after all that. But anyway, I'm not talking about that game. As far as the Blue goes, many problems. Nothing's going to fix it that quick. Again, we've got the same problems, doing the same things over and over again, falling over. Leaders not standing up at the end. Do they play some good football at times? Yeah, they played a really. That third quarter was probably their best quarter of the whole year. They played a good brand, mate. Tackling, kicking goals, did everything. Then you get like little things that happen that kind of like make you, we could talk about the last 5 goals and thing, but like, I don't know, Mackay kicks a goal. That was their best passage of play all game. When Mackay kicks the goal after the siren in the third quarter, best passage of play. They brought it from the back. They transferred the ball. It was beautiful. They kicked it to Mackay. He kicks from 50 after the siren. He celebrated like he almost won the grand final. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, relax, bro. Like we're celebrating little things that we shouldn't be celebrating like that, like, so yeah, nothing good about that game. And we got some serious problems, and quite honestly, I don't know. I don't think they'll sack Voss straight away now. I don't know if they'll sack him after Adelaide. I doubt they'll sack him before Collingwood or after Collingwood. So it could be coming in the coming weeks.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, what point did it get to when you could see that it was turning? What point did you think, oh shit, it's going to happen again? We're going to get run over. What point is it?
Schneasel what's his name? Schneasel. When he kicks that goal.
Yeah, because I was watching. Yeah, I tipped you guys, and at 3/4 time, I was like, oh, they might actually get it done here. But then they just started getting on top. I was like, they're not going to stuff it again.
So we get to 21 points up again because we did it. We kicked the 2 goals. They kicked a couple, we kick a couple, and then get it back to 21. It seems like we got it under control. But you just, with Carlton at the moment, you just feel like at any moment it can break. At any moment, it's not safe because they're weak. They're weak attitude, weak-minded players all the way from the top to the bottom. You know me, there's too many problems in Carlton. Even we were talking about it last night. Oh, would the coach make a different coach? Yeah, possibly make a little bit of a difference. Could we win a few more games? Maybe. But we got bigger problems before we worry about players and coaches before. So it just felt like, I never felt comfortable in that game. I never felt, even when we were 22 points with 10 minutes to go, I still didn't feel comfortable. And then Suitors Schneasel, as I've now renamed him. Schneasel. Apparently Schneasel is a Pokemon. I didn't know that. When Schneasel, that's going to be his name from now on. When Schneasel kicks that goal, run around, we were done, man. They just started to win it out of the centre. They started running past. We just stopped again. And the problem is with Carlton, I've said this a couple of weeks ago, we don't try to win games, right? We try not to lose them.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between trying to win a game and try not to lose a game, right? There's a big difference because then you put that attitude straight away. You put that into your mind. And we do things like we got Kemp in the back line already in the second quarter. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you do that, imagine like bringing one of your forwards and putting them in the back line. Already that changes the whole mentality of the team because then they go into defensive mode. Because you put your forward into the back line. So what does that say to the team? That says to the team, oh, we're in defensive mode. Instead of saying we're fucking 24 points in front, let's win by 44 points. Not let's save this game at 22 points. There's the mentality. Good sides finish off sides. We don't. And we haven't done it for like 3-4 years. It's a pattern. Over the last 3 or 4 years, there's at least 15 games where we've let go of big leads. That's a pattern. Can't the team see that? Can't the team see that there's a pattern in the way we lose games? So that's mentally, they're mentally spent. They're mentally spent this side. They're done. They're done. And this week's going to be hurtful.
Hurtful.
No.
So you're not going to respond? No response this week? You're not expecting anything?
I feel sorry for the. I really feel sorry for the Carlton supporters. I mean, I really shouldn't be talking, but especially when you're up at half time, I reckon that's more heartbreaking than anything else. Unless I'm prepared, the minute the ball bounces, I know that the Bombers are gone from the start of the bounce. But for you guys to be like in front at half time every single game and to lose, I reckon it's more heartbreaking because you're like, we should have won this game. But I did tip North Melbourne anyway. But due to the fact that I knew that if you boys were going to be in front, you're going to get rolled over. And I still believe it's a mental thing, mate. It's a mental thing. Otherwise, very plain and simple, I don't even know why you still get your coach. Sack him. Why wasn't he sacked? Tell me, Rocco. Why wasn't he just sacked?
When?
After the North Melbourne game, mate. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Another game?
Because
it's happened too often. It's a repeat.
I understand. So the thing is, he should have been sacked last year, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, why don't you sack fucking Brad Scott last week?
Because I think with Essendon at the moment, we're expected to lose straight away, mate. We're with Carlton.
It doesn't matter. You've lost 17 in a row. You've never made the finals under him. You've lost 17 in a row, and you actually look like. I think that Essendon are in more trouble than Carlton. Like at least we look like we can do something. You don't look like you can do anything. But
that's my point. That's why it's more heartbreaking, mate.
Yeah, it's fucking heartbreaking every week. There's no doubt about that. But you didn't come up with you just didn't come up with the cure for cancer. Like, you haven't come up with a brainstorm. Like, yes, it's fucking heartbreaking every fucking game. But I'll tell you why they won't sack him, right? Because you can't sack him in round 4. Because then you concede it, right? You conceded that you're done, and then it's a business. Right? Right? It's a business. They're going to lose money, right? People aren't going to go because you're in a rebuild. I think they should sack him. I can't see why they're going to keep him, but it's a business. And this is why we were discussing this yesterday, and I kind of agree with him now. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can sack him in round 12, the second half of the season, but you can't sack him now. After 4 rounds, they're going to fucking sack him, right? It'll stuff everything up. Right? To me, like Graham Wright, as good as everyone says he is, he's done a mistake. And no matter when they sack Voss now, he has to be, then it'll show that he did a big mistake. Even if they sack him now, they sack him in the middle of the year, or they sack him at the end of the year, regardless of when they get rid of him, Graham Wright has done a big mistake. They should have got rid of him at the end when they had that meeting last year. That's it. So now it's all about saving face, Mark. Half of the people in the board, half of the people there don't want to be look like they've done a mistake by keeping him, right? If you get rid of him right now, see, you could, by keeping him, you've always got hope. You know what I mean? There's always, you never know, they're going to turn it around, but being going to bring in this player, going to do this, going to do this. There's always hope. If you sack him, you admitted that you fucked it up, and you're not going to do anything this year. You've admitted it. They don't want to admit it, and they won't admit it now. And I agree. They won't sack him now. Unless we lose by 100 points the next 3-4 games, then you've got no choice.
I can't see that happening with Carlton.
That's right. So they'll keep him, and I think, because in the next 8 games, I can't see us winning many games. Maybe 1, maybe 2, right? So by round 12, 14, something like that, I reckon that's when they'll get rid of him, right? But now this is why they won't sack him, Mark, and this is why they won't sack Brad Scott. You can't sack him in. How many coaches have been sacked in round 4? No one. They won't do it. They'll probably do it in round. I think when we had Malthouse, he got sacked in round 8. So that's probably one of the earliest.
Has any coach actually been sacked after they've won a game? I think there might have been one or two coaches that they were playing, they were playing real bad football and then they won a game and they still sacked them after that game.
Well,
so regardless,
I think Brett Radden was close to that. I think he had a good,
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, he could have. Who else was there? There was another coach where they sacked him after a winning game. There was another one. Could have been someone last year. Maybe someone will say, it was. Nah, he wasn't sacked by round. Malcolm Blight wasn't sacked by round 3, was he? Nah, he lasted longer than that. He lasted half a year, I think, if I remember. Simon Goodwin, I think.
Yeah.
Simon Goodwin. There you go. Scotty comes through. So there you go. So there's too many issues about you can laugh at Carlton and that. It's all good. Everyone's having fun at that. And so we deserve it. We deserve it. We are where we are, right? We are exactly where we should be, right? We are exactly where we should be. We've put ourselves in this position because of the decisions we've been making over the last 4 or 5 and maybe 10 years, but definitely over the last 4 or 5 years. We have put ourselves in this position and we deserve it. We deserve it. You keep making the wrong decisions, you deserve to be where you are. Done. And all those, and I still believe we won't move anywhere until there's a board spill or there's some more people moved on, because you can never change. You can get a new coach in there, but until you change the whole attitude of the way the club is run, we're not going anywhere. And it's proven over the last 20 years. Like, I don't get what are they thinking? What are they thinking this side here? It's a disgrace. Like, I'm unlike you, Mark. I mean, you're recently in the last few weeks, you're kind of starting to resolve into where you're at and that. But I know where we're at. And the club should hang their head in shame. All of you should hang your head in shame the way first of all, the way the club has been going, and then you should hang your head in shame the way you celebrate stupid little things, right? You should hang your head in shame in the way you try to deflect things, the way you try to give us feel-good stories every week. At the end of the day, you've turned this club into just a weak bunch of little boys that won't achieve anything until we make some major changes. Here comes another one. Talking about a shit side. He's really getting worse, man.
Yeah, Port Adelaide suck, don't they?
I back Port as well, Liam. I back Port as well. I must have been all right on my tips this week, boys.
They sucked the life out of the Tigers.
Wow, yeah, Port.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's probably the most frustrating thing about this result is that Port actually sucked. They didn't play very well. We were just awful. We didn't turn up really. Just the way that we moved the ball was awful. Some of our skill execution was awful. We made no effort at all. It was, I don't know if we were trying to win the game at all. Even it just looked like we're out there having a run around. I was like, what's actually our game plan here? What are we trying to achieve? We let in possessions. I think we let in marks. We had more inside 50s. It looks all right from a stats point of view, but we were just running around, just kicking the ball wherever. I don't know what our game plan was. And Port didn't really punish us either. And the only time that we looked like coming back in and maybe having a crack was in the third quarter, like end of the third quarter. We had all the play, but we were kicking goals out on the full and kicking behinds from easy places. It was a really hard watch. It was one of those games was like, oh man, like if this is the effort we're putting up against the team we should be competing, we should be beating. I'm really worried. That was easily our worst performance of the year. Yeah,
it was a pretty bad performance. I didn't expect us to lose so easily. So So you definitely, are you worried at all, or are because it's really only a second year under, like under your coach and like you still got a fairly young side, so you got to put a couple more years, maybe put some senior players around them. Are you worried, or you think?
Yeah, no, I am worried. That was a really worrying performance. We should have been coming into that game thinking, hey, we're a really good chance here. Port aren't traveling too well. We've got the home ground. We're a really big chance to come out and do. I didn't see any effort. I did not see us. There was not any stage. Maybe a little bit in that third quarter where I was like, all right, we're having a little crack here, but the execution was terrible. So
you agree?
Yeah, I'm definitely worried. And like I'm looking at our next 4 games. I thought these were going to be good games. I don't know anymore. Like you back us against the Giants this week because it's in a neutral territory, as we said, and they've got injuries, but we're not beating them. We go play North in Marvel. North have won 3 games to start the season. We're not beating them. Then we come back. We play Melbourne. They've just had another big win. We're not beating them. West Coast in Perth. Yeah, they got smashed this week, but they've started better than us. That's where my concern is. I don't know who we can beat.
Do you agree with Manny Costco? He reckons the Richmond rebuild will fail. I can see it from a mile away. All drafted players are shit. Can't kick apart from your number 4. The rest are rejects. That's a big statement.
It's a big call. It's a big call.
Well, that's probably reality.
There's a little bit of truth to it. There's a little bit of truth to it. I think all I'll say is that we're still in the early stages of it. But if it's more, if that's the game style, but if we think we can play, just kick it and just throw these big long bombs everywhere, or take like millions of times and play this sort of slow brand of footy out of the stoppages. If that's going to be our game plan moving forward, we're absolutely in trouble. As far as the players, we've definitely got the capabilities. Like, we know Lola's going to be good. I think Sam Grill looks good. Liam Fawcett got in the side this week, who I've been pushing to get in. He was really impressive. I think Morris Rioli's gone up another step. We have good enough players. I don't think it's necessarily the players, but I think if this is our game plan moving forward, I don't think we're going to get better. Something needs to change somewhere, because that performance on the weekend, I was like, oh geez,
well, at least you got 48
like
points.
I said, I don't know who we're going to beat now. I don't think we're better than anyone.
Points, not bad. Considering you guys haven't got a full forward at the moment, you've got injuries. So 48 points is okay for a team like Richmond.
I don't think even Liam's talking about the 48 points. I think he's talking about the way they went about playing the game. I think that's more the worry. That's
more that it is. Like I said, we had them in inside 50s, but we've kicked 6 goals, 12. You're not gonna win games of footy kicking 6 goals, 12. We did the same thing against Carlton, a game that we should have won. We didn't take our opportunities. Same thing in this one. We kind of did all right, and we weren't really challenged. Port Adelaide were not very good, but
no.
But what? It's a 7-goal loss.
Can I just ask? So even though it's a waste of time for me, I love listening to the coach after in the press conference, and usually on emergency meeting, after a while, we put it up there and we all listen to it together while we're watching emergency meeting, and we dissect it and have a bit of a laugh about it. I'm sick of what I hear from Michael Voss. I'm sick of it. When you hear your coach, are you getting anything from it, Liam, or are you thinking, shut up, or is he actually giving something? Is he being honest? What do you get from the press conferences?
Uze's pretty honest. Like he was straight up and said that was a really poor effort. We needed to do a lot better than that. We put in a poor performance. He's definitely honest. It's more still the lenience. It's the whole narrative that we all get. It's we're young, we're rebuilding, we needed to give it time. I was like, yeah, I get that, but I was like, we still need to see something. And that's the problem that I had from the weekend. Is there's nothing that I saw and there's nothing really that I've seen in the first month that's making me think, all right, we're actually getting better. So yeah, I think Uze, great that you're being honest. Great you're fronting up. He came out and said, "Yep, that's not good enough. We can't be playing that. We can't be putting up that brand of football. We need to do better." Fair enough, but I'm struggling to see where we're getting better. That's my concern.
All right, at least that's honest and fair, and I'm glad. Like, it starts with like one of the issues is the press conference. I like to see the coaches that are honest, right, and are being like truthful with the supporters and know where you're at. Because if you don't know where you're at, you're not going to go anywhere. At least you got to know where you're at. If you got problems in certain areas, let's identify them and let's move forward. And if you're telling me that that's what he's doing, that's a start for him. And I still think you're in an early stage for Richmond. I mean, loss after loss. I mean, you could go down another year and a half, and then you figure, oh, fuck, we've fucked this completely up. So you've got to be real careful with that. But at the moment, I still see you're in the early stages, so I wouldn't be too concerned. Marco, we're going to finish off, or you got anything to say?
Right to go, boys, right to go. I think Liam's copped a little bit this afternoon.
Well, let's get into the worst club in the competition at the moment. And here we go. Let's get into the worst club. Bulldogs, 1996, absolutely dominated for a half, and then Essendon come out and outscored them in the third quarter. I actually watched all this game, and then the Doggies just kept them at arm length through the whole. I mean, they didn't have to do much more after that. Essendon showed something in that third quarter, but in reality, they're just a rabble. I don't see them getting out of this too easily, but it's your game, Marco. What did you see?
Yeah, well, obviously, I was wanting to see a lot more better effort on the night, but I thought more records were going to be broken that evening, but it wasn't to be. I think after half time, you could just see the different intent, the effort and pressure. You could see it, and I think the way we even held onto the ball after half time, we didn't rush. We didn't run and carry as much. We just controlled the game a little bit after half time. So I could see the difference in that, and I was quite impressed. We did outscore them in the second half. A lot of people saying, obviously, the Bulldogs, put the queue in the rack, but I don't think teams do that anymore. I think if a team's going to do that, it's maybe towards the end of the year where you've got nothing else to play for. If you're sitting a couple of games on the top of the ladder, maybe you might put the queue in the rack. But no, I think I was quite impressed, to be quite honest. I thought it was going to be a bit of a belting. There are still some major issues with our leadership and also the experienced players, such as Mackay again, 5 possessions. I can't justify why he's playing. We put Blakiston in the back line and Peter Wright in the middle and in the ruck, and that did change the game as well. So Blakiston is not a ruck; he's not a genuine ruck. He went back, and for me, I think he should continue in that position every week, Blakiston, and get rid of Mackay. Piss him off, get rid of him, mate. Put him in the reserves. Archie Perkins, again, over 100 games, just kept on turning the ball over. We need more of, a kid like that. Guelphy. I mean, you think about it. We got beaten the week before, one change. And it was only one change because Caddy was injured. One change, is just not good enough. The coach should have made at least another 4 or 5 changes. That wasn't to be. He still kept those players, your Greshams and your Guelphys and so forth. They've had their opportunities. They should have been dropped. They should have been gone. But there was a couple of, players, young players. Archie Roberts, this guy's going to be fantastic, 31 possessions. And a young fellow by the name of Jacob Farrow. It was his second game. This guy's an elite left footer. And we need more of those players. It's all about elite possessions and kicking the ball, spot on these days. But second game back, so fantastic for that little guy there. But Rocco, I'm just going to ask you a quick question as well. Kennedy, did you guys get rid of him, or did he actually want to leave? Because he had 36 possessions on the weekend, mate. And I thought, how can Carlton let this guy go? I mean, he would have been such a key player for you guys at the moment. So did he actually leave?
I think he suits the Doggies midfield. Like with us, we have too many of those players. So we've got Kennedy. He's slow, Kennedy. He gets a lot of the ball, but he doesn't suit our midfield. He probably would have been, Kennedy, Hewitt, Cripps. They're all the same pace. So that's one of our big problems. Did we get rid of him? I think they did a disservice to Kennedy. I don't think Kennedy wanted to leave. they did a disservice. In that final, they benched him. They benched him after his wife had a child and he left and went into state and to play the game. They benched him after the first quarter or whatever they did. Did we want to get rid of him? Probably. I don't know. I don't think. What I heard was that they said to him, "You're not going to get a lot of midfield minutes, right? So be prepared to play in the reserves." Doggies come along and say, "Yep, I think you're going to get more midfield minutes. We can't guarantee you a midfield spot, but if you earn it, you're going to get it." And yeah, it was the right choice for him. He's done really.
He certainly fits in there well, mate.
But he used to do that for us.
Yeah.
Was it a mistake? Oh, look, at the end of the day, it's a mistake to get rid of him. I
believe so, Rocco. 36 disposals, and the Bulldogs have got a pretty strong midfield as well. So for him to continuously, play in that position was pretty good. So yeah, all in all, there was some good signs there on the second half, and hopefully that continues next week and for the rest of the season. But again, it was all just come down to intent, pressure, effort. Some of the young kids out there. But we still need to make some massive changes in our list. And like I was saying to those players there, they need to be dropped and bring in some other players. So keep rotating, keep giving these players an opportunity. And if they don't succeed, mate, just keep delisting or dropping the players, mate. It's the only way we can go forward. So at one stage, I did think we were going to get smashed, although we kicked 1-7 in the first quarter, and goals do make a big difference, but it wasn't going to make a difference at the end of the game. So I was happy we didn't get smashed, mate, to be quite honest, and I can only move forward from there.
I think you got it wrong, Marco. I think you're daydreaming. The Bulldogs took the foot off the pedal nice and early. There was no way they were going to sit there. And what you said earlier on, that if it's towards the end of the season, why would they want to do that towards the end of the season? They're doing that now. Right? Because for them, the way they look at it is, we're going to beat Essendon, who's a shit side, by 40 points, or we're going to beat it by 100 points and end up having our players totally exhausted for next week and maybe even get injuries. Mate, what they've done is they've done their job. They've beaten you. They've beaten you comfortably. They took the foot off the pedal in that second half. They thought, you know what, let's just let the Essendon fans get a little bit excited. And that's what they did. They played you. Mate, they're very smart. That coach's not going to sit there and worry about trying to beat you guys by 100 points and have injuries, have players. The Bulldogs, mate, that for them was a training session. They are now ready to travel interstate and they're ready to play. Yeah. So I can tell you right now, the way the competition is. You play one quarter of football because the Bulldogs let you play it.
We outscored it for 3 quarters. To be honest, we actually won the 3 quarters. We won 3 quarters of football, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So it's only the first quarter. And again, it come down to about probably 10 minutes into the first quarter, they kick 6 goals. 10 minutes in the first quarter, they kick 6 goals. The game's over there.
They played you. They finished the game. That's it.
The
coach said, go in there,
on a rack, mate. You know why?
Bang them hard.
Get the game over done with. The competition is now, percentage is crucial. Teams like Sydney will go out there and they'll smash a side. They won't put the Q in the rack, mate. They'll smash you by 100 points. You know why? Because these days, the way the competition is, it's very close, mate. Percentage plays a big key. And your percentage is important at the start of the year, to be quite honest. So they don't put the Q in the rack, mate. If you're going to beat a team, you go out there, you smash them by 80, 100 points. It's going to benefit your team towards the end of the year, because the competition these days, it's about percentage a lot now. A lot of teams are pretty equal towards the end of the year.
They got the third highest percentage. We made 140.
Yeah, that's right. So we made some changes in the second half. I'm not quite sure what they said to Zach Merritt at halftime, but I can assure you right now, mate, he was a completely fucking different player after halftime, mate.
I can tell you what the coach said after the first quarter.
It makes a big difference, Matty. It makes a big difference, yeah? No, when your players are playing well, the team follows. Now, we could have got smashed by 80 to 100 points. Yes, I can agree on that. But at the end of the day, we changed the way we played. There was intent, and you could see it. There was intent. The Bulldogs started turning it over.
The Bulldogs did what they had to do nice and early to preserve their players.
The Bulldogs,
they beat you by 100 points or 40 points or 200 points. For them, it's about They won comfortably.
Yeah.
No injuries. They play, like I said,
They had a couple of injuries. They actually had two injuries.
Their players after the game. Their players after the game, you know what they did? You probably don't know this, but their players after the game had to go and do sprints for about 2-3 hours just so they could bring up their percentage of fitness because it was a boring game.
Yeah,
Can I just fix something up before you go on? Mark, you didn't win 3 quarters. Right. What you're saying is absolutely wrong, right? You think you won 3 quarters.
Well, that's what the commentator was saying.
You didn't kick, wait a second. You don't even know your own game. No. You didn't kick one. No, you don't.
Go look at the scores from the first half.
You didn't kick 1-7, right? You kicked 7 goals 2 to 1 goal 3 in the first. In the second quarter, you kicked 4 points. You didn't kick 1-7 in the first. They kicked another 3 goals 5. It was only the third quarter that you scored 5 goals. In the last quarter, you outscored them by a point. They still scored 4 goals. You didn't outscore them. See, this is the kind of bullshit that you go on. You're trying to find some sort of gold out of fucking turds here, right? You didn't. They absolutely smashed you. 10 goals 7 to 1 goal 7 by half time. Game was over. The doggies aren't going to kill themselves. They also picked up 2 injuries. They picked up fucking English and they picked up the other small forward there who kicked 3 goals. What was his name? There was some injury. He was killing it, right? They picked up them 2. So now they're playing with 2 less on the interchange. Mark, they're not going to kill themselves. They're not going to run rotations around in the second half to beat you by an extra 20 points, right? That's not going to happen. You got absolutely demolished, right? And the only reason you even come near them in that third quarter was because of their injuries.
Well,
right?
Okay. All right.
Right? And the second thing, with the ladder and that, they're worried about the fucking percentage. They're on 140%, bro, on top of the ladder, mate. They're not worried about your extra fucking 20 points. So, listen, I know you're trying to polish a turd here, but at the end of the day, a turd is a turd.
Yeah. Okay. Look, it wasn't a win, right? Look, Rocker, I really don't give 2 shits about sometimes what you're saying, right? Because at the end of the day, this is what I believe. After half time, I can see a difference in the team and the players. All right. So, what do you want me to say? Yeah, well, I expected to get done by 100 points. So I was ready for that.
Now, what I'm saying is you came up with stats there trying to make yourself look better. But at the end of the day, those stats
was we outscored him in the second half.
You did not win the last 3 quarters. You did not win the last 3 quarters, right? You won the third quarter and that was it, right? Yeah. Your second quarter, you kicked 4 points. You did not win the last 3 quarters. You're trying to polish something there, right? I'm telling you, they lost their ruckman and their main forward who absolutely was eating you alive. Their rotation down to 3. They're not gonna fucking do anything here, bro. Okay. They're not. What do you think they're gonna kill themselves over Essendon? Like, be realistic, bro. Be realistic.
I'm being realistic. From what I saw a big difference in the second half. That's been realistic.
I saw a big difference in the third quarter. That's all.
Third and fourth quarter. I saw a difference.
Come on, man. In the fourth quarter.
And hopefully that can continue to the start of the next game. So hopefully they can roll on with that. It's all about confidence, Rocco. It's all about confidence, mate. So if they can keep that intent and that pressure next week, things can come of that, and you just don't know. They might actually have their first win next week. So, it's coming. It's coming.
3 quarters after you kick 4 points in the second quarter to their fucking 10 goals 7. It's up to you, man. Manny, you got anything else to finish off this?
It's like you said. Rocco. I can sit there and get a pile of shit, and I can put icing sugar on it, and a couple of strawberries. It's still a pile of shit. So, if Essendon want to sit there and they can daydream as much as they like, because I can tell you right now, what you're seeing is not, you know what you're seeing? You're seeing hope. And you know what that hope is? That you hope that you might win a game. And at the moment, you guys have got Buckley's. You know what Buckley's is? Buckley's. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's sad, but I can tell you right now, inside, I feel nice. I really feel this warmth. Yeah.
There will be a celebration next week. I mean, we could be bringing out a special celebration with a cake with 18 losses in a row, and I mean, you are chasing the record of, I think it's 23 losses in a row. It could be by, I think it was by Fitch. No, it was by Sydney in the 90s. Got 26 losses in a row. So I think, listen, I personally, for me, Mark, I think that's a good goal for Essendon to achieve. You know, you should really put all your resources in getting 26 losses. Yeah, at least you've got something to celebrate. You know what I mean?
Cherish these moments. Cherish these moments.
I reckon. I agree. I reckon. Look, we should take those moments, Mark. We should take those moments and cherish it.
I feel like getting a spin the wheel, right? Because at the end of the day, right, we still haven't played Carlton, we still haven't played Richmond, and we haven't played those collie fucking wobbles, mate. And guess what? I can't wait if it's one of you boys that we get our first win, mate, because this show is going to go off. I tell you right now.
I went roughed up.
Mark my words, guys.
I reckon Anzac Day, you guys will beat us.
Oh, mate, Manny.
No.
Just be mindful, mate. If we do, mate, it's going to be bells and whistles, buddy.
I'm making a note of that.
I reckon Anzac Day might be the first game you guys beat Collingwood.
It might beat Collingwood or just win the first game.
I reckon you guys are going to beat Collingwood for sure.
We might beat Richmond and Carlton as well, eh? What if that happens, boys? It's going to be a party, mate. You'll see the costumes coming out. Maybe Gino might even come out even now.
What if it doesn't happen, Mark? And that's more likely. The more likely result is that's not going to happen, right? Your imaginary, if that happens.
You're telling me, Rocco, that if Carlton play Essendon next week and you're up by 5 goals, you wouldn't be starting to shit yourself?
Not against Essendon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not against Essendon. Against Essendon, you could be 1,000 points in front, and I still think we'll beat you because you are seriously, like, we've got a lot of things to fix, but at least we're in games. At least we play good football. I don't think what you play resembles football. It doesn't even resemble football. Like, seriously, I reckon I'm not going to say all the AFLW teams, but I think the North Melbourne AFLW team, who's won the last 2 or 3 premierships and has won like 26, they're doing the opposite of you. They've won 20 odd games in a row where you've lost. Right? I seriously believe, and this is true, right? I think that the North Melbourne AFLW side would beat your side now.
Okay.
That's how terrible I think the Spuds are.
That's all right, mate. I'm still enjoying my Smiths, mate. Don't worry. And those cold pies are still in the oven there.
Are we going to see a wager from you, Mark?
I've got the chicken Smiths, right? Which is exactly what you are, a bunch of chickens, mate.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, there you go. When things are looking pretty hot for the doggies, because I can tell you right now, they had no shame in giving it to Essendon doggy style. And then, of course, they thought we better back off now because this is getting a bit too much. But, look, at the moment, Sydney, they're also one of those sides that are up there. But I still believe that the Gold Coast Suns are the pretenders. They are definitely the pretenders at the moment. And Hawthorn is quietly doing their business. Now,
Thank God for the wild card round. Thank God for the wild card round, many there.
Well, they can call it whatever they like, my friend. I can tell you right now that Collingwood, is just scraping in the top 10. It sounds like I'm about to sit there and be Casey Kasem, the old DJ that used to sit there and talk about.
Percentage is not looking too good there, Manny. That might make a big difference in percentage there.
Oh, look, you know what, Michael, you're right. I'm glad you could see your percentage. I think you got 62.7. That's probably been your average percentage over the last 10 years, 62 to 65%. But you know what? Credit to you guys. You're keeping the Richmond Football Club together. And I think you guys will have the big fight for the wooden spoon. And that'll be challenging for you guys. And you know what? I think it's deservingly. It is deservingly. But, let's get serious. Maybe we might think about talking about every team from the top 10 and not worrying anything about the below, because the below is just below. And it's a sad story at the moment. So that's all I can tell you at the moment, Rocco. It's just a tough day in the office for a lot of our teams. Tough day in the office.
It is a tough day in the office.
Yeah.
It definitely is. All right.
Yeah.
What do we got next? All right, let's go straight into next week's games.
Whoa.
Go straight into next week's game, man, because it is
You guys are fast up.
and it starts tomorrow night. Gather Round is starting all over in Adelaide. The City of Churches, Adelaide v Carlton,
Wow.
7:40. It's going to be a bloodbath, I believe. I don't think we can win this at all. There's no chance. There's no chance. It's going to be a tough game. It is at Adelaide Oval. I've actually been there. I went to the first ever Gather Round Carlton Adelaide, and it was over by quarter time. Before we go on, make sure you get down to the Sporting Globe to watch this game with all of us. There's going to be all of us there from the jumper punch. I think Paul's coming down also, and there's also going to be, I think, the boys from Back to the Bench are coming down. There's a whole bunch of people. Make sure you get your free tickets underneath. It's only so we can get numbers. Come on down. We're going to have a feed. There's nibblies, drinks. We'll have a bit of a laugh. But back to this. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, man. That's all it's going to be. It starts tomorrow night. That's all I've got to say. I don't think we can win this at all, like zero. I think this should be a $1 for Adelaide.
Wow.
Right,
Okay. All right. Cool.
And with the changes, I don't understand selection. We got someone like a Flynn Young in the reserves, small forward. He's kicked 7 goals in the last 2 weeks. Probably been our best player. Doesn't get into the side, even though Haywood, who's been absolutely terrible, we gave him our award this week. You should have stayed home, you Fugazi, because he's done nothing. And then he does those 2 that are just disgusting things he done, where he gave away 50-metre penalties. That could have made a difference. And then he gets a week suspension. They could have brought in Flynn Young, and what do? Easy move. They bring in fucking O'Keefe. I don't know why. It's going to be wet. They've only got 1 ruckman. I don't know why we're bringing in another big ruckman. It's not going to make a huge difference to us. And the other, I forget who the other changes are. There was a couple of other changes which I don't think. I think Zach Williams is coming in. Wiedering won't be there again. So that's going to be a big with their big Phil Thorpe and big bloody Tex Walker and Rankin and all that. They're going to run riot. I mean, their midfield isn't the greatest, but when they start running those small midfielders through the midfield, I'm sure they're going to do it. It's going to be tough, man. And again, Voss is dumb. Voss is going to sit there with his hands crossed and not know what to do, because as soon as something different happens, that's it. Doesn't know what to do.
I think Carlton's that's the wrong time, mate. Wrong place and the wrong time, mate, to be playing Adelaide. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any good time to play Adelaide over there. They're hard to beat. And they're a good side. I mean, they did get beaten by Fremantle this week, but that was still a good game, So Nah, it's not a good time at all to play. We've got 2 interstate games in 3 weeks, so it's going to be tough for us. So no good. I'm going to be honest.
Did you back in Rocco? Did you back Carlton or did you back Adelaide?
Oh, you'll see in my tips, but I'm gonna.
Tipping with his head or tipping with his heart.
It'd be hard. No, I won't. I'm going to tip Adelaide this week. I don't think that Carlton will win at all. No chance. There's no chance. I'm unlike you, Mark, where you go like, oh, you never know. You know what I mean? We might turn it around. What shows you and what shows me that you can turn it around? Like nothing's there that tells me we can turn it around. You know what I mean? Nothing tells me that we can turn it around. The only difference with Carlton and Essendon is at least we put ourselves in games. You don't. You're out of it from the bounce. At least we put ourselves in games. But what do I see that turns us around that we could hold the lead or do that? There's nothing. Nothing tells me that we could win this game at the end. We might be in front by 4 or 5 goals at halftime and lose by 10 by the end of it. Because they just don't know how. This is like the Seinfeld episode, and Rocco Mortal's going to love this. You know how to take the reservation. You just don't know how to hold it. And holding the reservation, that's the most important thing. And that's the same with Carlton. We know how to take a lead. We just don't know how to hold that lead. And the lead is the most important thing. You know what I mean? So
that's good.
That's the problem. We just mentally aren't strong enough. And we just don't know what to do when it comes down to those situations. Right? We can play a certain brand of footy, right? But we just can't do what we need to do when we need to do it, if that makes sense. When you need to slow down the game, when you need to press forward. We just can't do it. We can't do it. So that's a coaching issue. It's also players. I think our skill level is very bad, right? But it's also, with skill level, it's also like, you could say like a Florent, and I kind of gave it to our player who we got from Sydney, Florent. He turns over the ball a bit. But Mars was right last night. If you look at it when you're there, he gets the ball. He's a good ball getter, but then he looks up and there's nothing there. There's nothing forward of him. He doesn't know where to kick it. So then he turns around, he tries to find a player and he misses the kick, right? So if there's nothing up forward, is it the player's fault that he's missing targets? If there's nothing there, if they're not presenting up forward, then where's he supposed to go? So we just don't know what to do up forward. I don't think it's going to change. Happy?
No, fair enough.
Let's talk about this. Is going to be an interesting game. Collingwood at Fremantle. Apparently, it's a Collingwood home game at the Adelaide Oval. So that should even things up, shouldn't it, Manny? Should even things up.
Well, listen. The point I'm trying to make is that no team has got the advantage on this week, but if you look at the game that Fremantle played against Adelaide, I can tell you right now that Collingwood's going to find it very, very tough to try and beat Fremantle. I really believe it. I mean, there's going to have to be something that we change, from last week to try and get over the line. So. Yeah, at this stage, I can tell you that Fremantle's going to win this game pretty comfortably. Even though we do travel well, I think it's fair to say that Fremantle at the moment are a better side.
Do Collingwood tag at all? Will you tag like Sarong or Brayshaw or anything?
Mate, we worry more about trying to create space in the midfield and trying, I mean, it was hard. The fact that we had no Pendlebury, it was hard that we had no Darcy Moore. It was hard that we had no Nick Dacos. So, I'm hoping that these big guns are going to be playing Liam, because if they're not playing against a very good side, Fremantle is a good side, and it's okay to sit there and accept that. You know what? We've probably had our couple of years where we should have done well, and we were lucky we won that premiership, and disappointing the couple of years after that. And, maybe we've missed the bus. Maybe the train's already departed. But this week, I think Fremantle are going to win. I don't think they're going to win quite comfortably, but they will win.
Dacos playing, or do you reckon they'll play him?
I'm sorry, Mark. I was here talking to everyone. For some unknown reason, you seem to be walking at the wrong time. I don't repeat myself, so you're going to have to sit there and watch the rerun to be able to get the answers to that question.
Well, hopefully he is playing, mate.
Let's talk about the next game, because that's going to be a really good super game, I think.
Hopefully Dacos is playing. You need him.
Yeah. I think Essendon needs him. Don't worry about Collingwood needing Essendon.
I think Nick and Pennells have both been named, so they'll play. They'll go up there and play.
He's fit.
Yeah, there's going to be interesting games. Collingwood travel well, but Fremantle have been playing, and they've just played at Adelaide Oval, and they beat Adelaide over there in a close game. So I don't think they're going to do, and they are playing some good footy. So it's going to be tough. So yeah, I think we're going to see the slide of Collingwood in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
This could be the match of the round here. Essendon v Melbourne at Adelaide Oval. I don't know, to tell you the truth, I don't know why they're playing Essendon at Adelaide Oval. They should be playing at the Barossa Valley there in the middle of the Vine field.
They'll draw the crowds in, mate. That's why they're playing there. They'll draw the crowds. Don't worry, mate. They've got supporters all over the country.
They will draw the crowds, will they? Essendon who can't draw a crowd, right? And Melbourne, who can't draw a crowd, are going to draw the crowds in Adelaide.
That's why they're playing in there.
Where do you come up with this stuff? Anyway, how are you going to beat Melbourne?
How are we going to beat them, mate? We'll have to continue doing what we've done in the second half against the Bulldogs. So we continue that from the start of the bounce, very basic. We might have a chance to actually beat the D. So, and we actually played them a couple of years ago at Adelaide at Gather Round, and we beat them. So massive changes. We need to make the changes. Very simple again. I'm going to be quick on this, guys. Drop, obviously, Mackay, Perkins, Guelphy, Gresham, Pryor, and possibly even Langford, to be quite honest. And bring in Caddy, Ridley, Sardis, 37 possessions in the reserves. I don't know why they don't play this kid. Nick Cox, give him another go. And one of my little favourites, Mortal Kombat. Remember Mortal Kombat, that game? Was it near
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Mortal Kombat, that's it. Nugent. So hopefully he comes back to the side as well. So if those boys can come in this week, I'm going to give them every chance, honestly, against Melbourne. They're playing some good football, don't get me wrong. But new coach, I think we can kind of rattle them this week, and we might actually get our first win. Hopefully, Essendon by 22 points. It's going to be one of those games when we win, we're going to win comfortable. So bring those players that I just mentioned, drop those players, give it a crack, keep the intent going, pressure, and let's get our first win, Bombers.
I like it. I like the confidence, but Manny, you reckon they could do it?
I reckon that if Essendon manages to play the 3 quarters of football that they played against the Doggies, because they did dominate 3 out of the 4 quarters.
That is true.
Against the Doggies, I reckon they could probably actually, what am I talking about? They've got no fucking hope. Forget it. The way Melbourne at the moment is playing, for a club that has had a lot of issues off the field, and they've lost some big names, some big names. And you know what? And they've managed to keep some stability there. So it is what it is. I think it is some worrying times for the Essendon Football Club. I honestly think that they need to introduce some kind of rule, maybe with this 19th team that comes out, where they sit there and say, right, let's get rid of Essendon, put them in the VFL for maybe 12 months, lift your game, show us that you're credible to be playing AFL, and then you can come back in. I honestly believe that, because at the moment, I couldn't believe you guys couldn't even handball to each other. It was like I was watching as a young kid when I was sitting there watching the Moomba. You know, you'd sit there and watch. You remember Zig and Zag? I mean, I know at the end we found out they ended up being pedophiles, but Zig and Zag, you know, they're walking around, and that's honestly, that's what it reminded me of. You guys couldn't even kick the ball straight to each other. It's just sad. It is.
Well, it's a mutual ground. It's a mutual ground, mate. Manny, so anything can happen, mate, in football, can it?
Mutual ground.
Take it 1 week at a time, buddy. Take it 1 week at a time.
But even if you're playing at the MCG, it's a neutral ground because you both play there. Like where does Melbourne? Where does Melbourne play at fucking Marvel Stadium? Where does Melbourne and Essendon play that's not neutral? Are you serious?
It should be played at Marvel Stadium. Marvel Stadium. If it's an Essendon home game, it should be played at Marvel Stadium. Why can't they play it there?
You think that would have made a difference?
Well, you know, again, I mean, 40,000 Essendon supporters, and that's it. Just keep it at
40,000.
What?
You don't get fucking 40,000 at the G. Like, let alone it's fucking getting 40,000 at Marvel.
Well, it sold out last week. North Melbourne and Essendon was sold out. North Melbourne and Essendon was sold out last week.
North Melbourne and Essendon was sold out.
What was that?
Close to sold out. 40, 47, 48,000, I think.
Can you check that? My stat man?
Give me some time here. North Melbourne.
I reckon you're wrong there. I don't think there was 47.
They were sold out. It was a sold out game.
Yeah, but every game's a sold out. They make a ticketed event for every game these days.
You know, what they did was they actually allowed a lot of people to come in for free.
Is that the one that was giving away fucking $5 tickets?
Yeah. They were even getting kids. They were giving kids a free hot dog so they could buy a $5 ticket.
Yeah, Essendon versus North Melbourne had 40,000. I think there's 55 at Marble.
55,
that wasn't sold out. It wasn't 47. I knew there was 40,000.
I was close, 40,000. I said 40,000.
You weren't close. You said sold out, and then you went 47.
Well, I thought it was.
But yeah, Marvel's capacity is 53,000. So that's only 13,000 off sold out.
Making something only bigger than what it is. You love it. I love Mark for that. Talk about another fucking fun game. This is at the Barossa Park. This is not even. They looked at Richmond and went, you know what? Let's try to get them as far away from Adelaide as possible, and we'll play them down at the Barossa Park. But anyway, this will be Barossa Park, the Giants versus Richmond. This will be. I don't think you got much chance. But anyway, I'll leave it to you, mate.
Yeah, look, as I've said, you can, because we're at a neutral ground and Giants have a few injuries of their own where maybe a chance, but look, like I've said, how we're playing, I don't see where we're getting a win. To be honest, it's going to come down to the bowl use, like the guy on the picture there for the Giants, Lockie Ash, Lockie Whitfield, guys like that out of the back line. I don't think we have any players to stop them defensively. When they get it and they cut through us with their ball movement, it's going to be hard to stop. They've got talents up forward. It's kind of hard. I want to say we're going to be competitive, and I kind of hope that we do be competitive because we need to show something. But yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Look, what a depressing rival round we've just had, right? We've just gone through our games and we've all just been like absolutely depressed. No one's given anything. Like we're given enough, except for Mark. Mark's delusional, right? But we just sat there going, I just listened to Liam, to Manny, to me, and it was just like, we're not going to give nothing. Like, fucking hell. Seriously, if we don't show up this week, it's probably better You know, like fucking hell, that was the worst.
Honestly,
man.
mate, yeah, let's just cancel Gabba round, mate. We shouldn't go to Adelaide. Let's just stay
We
here.
just had the most. There was
We should
nothing
all just
there.
stay here.
Not even
Just
from the
hang
chat. Not even the chat gave it any of us any sort of chance. It was just like we all just sat there, fucking. This
Well,
is the
that's it.
worst. This is like the favourites chocolate, and at the end of the day, everyone left the Morrow chocolate at the bottom.
No.
I think that is the worst chocolate.
That's it,
of
yeah,
all.
we are the Morrow chocolates at the moment. There you go. that is
the
us, mate.
Morrow, fucking, and that's got
We-
nothing
we
to do
name
with
it,
Rocco Moro. He's a star,
no.
but the chocolate, it's definitely always the last one there, man. And talk about which are your favourite lollies. We were having a discussion yesterday.
Lollies?
I actually,
Or-
everyone does it. I actually like, right? I'm going to take one out. I like the teeth. The teeth.
That's a good answer. That is a good answer.
Really?
I like.
Yeah,
but
I'd say that or strawberries and cream. I like the
Oh,
strawberries.
strawberries and cream's another good one.
They
The
were
tea.
good.
I like the milk bottles.
Milk bottle. What are you doing?
The
Nah,
milk bottles.
licorice and
That's-
jelly beans for me.
I grew
No,
up.
that's
I grew up with milk bottles, my friend.
Nah,
Milk
that's
bottles.
the Morrow bar of lollies, mate. That's
I
down the
used
bottom.
to I used to like the spearmint leaves. The spearmint leaves was also one of
I
my
like
favourites.
them, mate.
You know, but
Yeah, alright.
yeah,
Pineapple, yeah, pineapple, all right. But look, if you're gonna go,
Pineapple
I think the king. Yeah, well, I don't know if the orange ones are the one, but I reckon snakes are the best.
Oh,
You can't beat a snake.
Yeah, I used to like sour snakes when I was younger. Not as much anymore.
sour snakes.
Yeah, I like the sour lollies. I always
Yeah.
get sour lollies.
Sour
I love
lollies.
sour
I used to be
lollies.
big on that when I was a kid.
Really?
Pythons were the best. The big pythons, the snake pythons, mate.
Oh, you get a python,
Well,
and then hey, listen, when you get your snakes or your python, do you have to stretch it? I got to stretch them out, man. I got to stretch them out.
Keep it
Make
clean.
them
Keep it clean, mate. If you're going to stretch your python, keep it clean, right? Keep it clean. I tell you a chocolate that I had a few days ago, which I hadn't had for years and years and years, and that was the Chiquito.
Mmm.
No.
Yeah,
Nice.
the Chiquito. Do you know what I'm talking about there, young Liam?
Nah, I was gonna say it's an old man's chocolate because I think the only
What about-
person I know who eats them is
You
my
know-
granddad.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
another chocolate I used to like eating as a kid, the Pollywaffle.
Yes.
Yeah, Pollywaffle. What was
Well,
it? Pollywaffle. One crunch. What was it?
That's
There was
right.
a-
Yeah,
That sounds kind of good.
yeah, the
Yeah,
Pollywaffle.
the Pollywaffles. Can you still get them?
Chocolate.
Yeah, you
No.
can. You can.
Oh, okay.
You can get them. Yeah, there are stores
Well,
that
that
do
sounds
sell.
good.
Yeah, the
Pollywaffles.
Pollywaffle.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Chiquito. I had the Chiquito. I hadn't had a Chiquito for years.
What's
You know?
wrong with Scotty Tonk? Give me a Werther's original.
They're quite nice.
Are they?
Is
They're
it-
like
is that
a
like-
caramel. They're like a caramel or something.
They are caramel.
do people
They are
have
good,
them for sore throats?
Was it Pollywaffle crunch? Was that it? Pollywaffle.
That's it. Pollywaffle crunch. That's right.
Crunch. That's right. That was the commercial.
That's right.
Very good. Thank you very much. And he would know it too. He would know
Now-
it too.
The biggest debate has always been: do you like the violet crumble or do you prefer the crunchy?
Oh,
See, I like the crunchy.
don't really
I like the
either of
crunchy.
them.
crunchy's softer. Like violet
Yeah.
crumble's a bit more crumbly, more harder. So, and,
Yeah.
you know what?
Violet
Yeah,
crumble.
we'll go crunchy.
Violet crumble.
No,
We'll
I
go
would go crunchy. I'm going to go with Manny
Yeah.
here, the
Yeah,
crunchy.
yeah.
I
I
reckon.
used to
Yeah.
love the crunchy. I used to love the crunchy.
Oh, we've got a bit of a debate
Yes.
here. We got the
Crunchy.
crunchy,
Yeah,
Violet
crunchy.
crumble, crunchy.
violet crumble, crunchy.
But I tell you, the one chocolate
Yeah.
where you can have a handful of them, right? And don't get the wrong idea. You can have a handful of these balls in your hand, and you just continuously eat them.
Jeez.
Maltesers.
There you go, Rocco Mortal. Bet you to it, mate. The Maltesers.
That's
And
out of you,
Hey,
mate.
mate,
Yes.
I love making them melt in my mouth, man. The Maltesers, mate, and then you get that violet crumble, the violet crumble in the middle of it. Yeah, for sure, man.
There you go. There you go.
We got a hater of the Polly waffle.
Oh, Lana.
Oh,
Lana, what? Didn't like
I'm gonna go try some of these Polly waffles.
Yeah.
I'll try one and I'll give a review next week. All
right. Next week we got the review. I like the aero bars too. I like the mint aero bars.
That's fair. That's top tier. I'll give that. Yeah, mint aero. They're top tier.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, mate. We're going back off to the chocolates again, but I reckon it's time for this one. And these are the
tips.
Next week's games. And as you can see, we've got the tips on the side there, so everyone can see them. I'll get Liam to go through the games quickly, but the tips are there. We don't have to all go through our tips. We've all gone for Adelaide. I've gone for a 50 points. Oh, look what I've done. 50 points.
Wow.
Well, I just wanted to say with my tip, I've tipped Adelaide by 23 at full time, but I've tipped Carlton by 10 at halftime. So
there you go.
You guys get ahead at halftime.
You're very intelligent. Well, Manny's gone for Collingwood there. The difference, of course, Marco went for Essendon and he'll never change. And then I went for the Suns. Everyone went for the thing. And then we kind of split it there. We went there with it. And the only difference is you went for St Kilda. You went for St Kilda over Port Adelaide, and we're going for Port Adelaide. So just quickly go over the games there, Liam.
Done. All right, yep. So we got your big game tomorrow night. Opening gather round, Adelaide versus Carlton. Yeah, Adelaide will get the job done in their home state. Then we've got Collingwood and Fremantle, also at Adelaide Oval, but it's a neutral ground actually, according to some. But I like Fremantle in this one. I think they're playing really good footy. And Saturday, is it on Friday as well, or is it meant to be Saturday? I don't know.
That's Friday.
I think it's Saturday. North Melbourne, Brisbane in Barossa Park, wherever that is. I have to try to figure that out as well. North Melbourne, Brisbane. North have started well, but Brisbane are pretty good. They'll get it done. Another rival game, Essendon, Melbourne, back at Adelaide Oval. I've been watching Melbourne, so they're good. Yeah, they're a good team. But who knows? Essendon might surprise us. Then Norwood Oval, not sure where that is either, but Sydney Gold Coast, that should be a really good game. That'll be a really interesting one because Sydney obviously had a huge win. Gold Coast had a little stumble. And then Hawthorn Bulldogs Saturday night. That is also a really good game. But again, I've watched Hawthorn 3 times this year. They look like a really good team. I'm going to stick with them. Then the Sunday games, Geelong and West Coast out at Norwood Oval. I'm a little bit worried for West Coast in this one, especially after last week. We've got my game out in Barossa Park against the Giants, as I've said. Not looking too good, not looking forward to that. And then, Port Adelaide to close off, gather round against St Kilda. I've gone different and tipped the Saints. We shall see.
Good. And I'll have to give me a sec while I get this up here. And it should come up in a sec here. Here it is. And there it is. There's the leaderboard.
I've got a bad week.
You had a bad week, for fuck's sake. So I'm just getting worse here, man. After being a triple premiership player for the last 3 Fourever tips, I've dropped to the bottom there, and and Liam on 25 and a good percentage there of 107. So he's killing it. He's tipping. He's in this week. He's in this year. I mean, this year he's really into it. He doesn't want to lose this one, so
I don't like losing. No.
He's sticking. All right, very good, very good. All right,
I've got to get more wins than Richmond at least. Sure.
Just quietly, mate. This chocolate debate is just going off, man. And someone did mention pods. Someone mentioned something about pods.
Oh, pods are elite. They're my favorite. Yeah, I had them the other week.
So
Have you guys had them? No.
Yeah, I've had them, and you reckon they're elite, right? And then you get Scotty
Hot tier 3.
He's just gone off, right? I can't find his trailer, but he's just gone off, Scotty. He reckons that pods are for stunazes, which means
he has gone off, hasn't he? Oh boy!
And that wasn't the only one. He just went right off, and he reckons like if you're a fucking what's that? A plebeian of the highest order. If you fucking love pods, I'm telling you, he's very passionate. And Scotty Tompkins is a great cook. He sends us pictures of the meals he's cooking, and he's just a great cook. For an Australian, he does not too bad. So thank you very much. I reckon it's time. I think everyone's been waiting for this. Hey? The minute of madness. We've been waiting for this. This is the part where we just get to ask each other some questions. We go for about 90 seconds, but if we like the way it's going, we might just keep it going like we did last week with Manny. And so this week we have got Manny's going to ask me questions. I don't know who wants to go first, and then we've got asking Mark. Is it?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've got some questions ready.
All right, is everyone ready for this? Who wants to go first, Liam or Manny?
Yeah, I'll go first. You ready, Marco?
Go for it, brother. Let's go, mate. Let's do this.
All right.
Ready,
We're on the clock.
Go.
All right. Favorite current Essendon player? Oh, gee.
Sam Durham.
Fair. What number does he wear?
Fuck, I forgot.
How many premierships have you won?
16.
Yeah, good. When can you realistically next contend for finals?
Next 2 years.
Whoa!
Another one. What number does Lockie Blackiston wear?
41, possibly. No, 38.
No, good guess. 46.
46.
Right, if you were playing AFL, what position would you play?
Forward flank.
Nah, you'd be back pocket. Tough
Forward
back
flank.
pocket.
Nah. Last Essendon player to make the All-Australian team.
Jordan Ridley or Zach Merritt, one of those two.
Zach Merritt. Yeah, Zach Merritt. Well done. What's Essendon's best and fairest award called?
The Crichton.
Yep. What's your favourite sport outside of footy?
Cricket.
Yep. Favourite food to eat at the footy?
I'd have to say a 4 and 20 pie, mate.
Last Essendon player who went number 1 in the draft.
McGrath.
Yep. Who got the most goals for Essendon last season?
2 meter Peter.
Yep. Who was your last win against?
Richmond.
Yep. How many days ago was that?
Fucking, I don't know, 300,000 days.
Not that far. Well, I'll ask that one now then. How many days since your last finals win?
Oh, shivers. It'd be over 7,000 days. Over 7,000.
Yeah, look, it's fair enough. We'll give you that one. If you had to support one of the other rival teams, which would you pick? If you have to support,
That's a good one.
It'd have to be Richmond due to the sash.
All right, good.
I like it, mate. Welcome to the club. That's all I've got for you, mate. Well done.
Very good. That was
You did good, mate.
Well done,
You
Mark.
probably played with players number, but I think you got the rest all right. So
Good
Thanks,
start.
Liam.
well done. Well done.
All right, Manny. Manny's been waiting all week for this, eh?
Oh,
Not
no.
really.
Oh,
Not really.
All right.
Just
I'll-
because you bombarded me last week, I'm not going to bombard you this week. No, I'm not that way. I don't
I'm
see
sure you're
Griffith.
not. I'm sure you got a bunch of people there to work out. You got the brains frost there to work out some questions for me. Let's go. Ready, steady,
Okay.
go.
All right. What's more stressful, watching Carlton with a lead or Carlton chasing a game?
At the moment, lead.
All right. Is Patrick Cripps carrying the team too much, or is the support finally good enough?
No, he's not. He's not carrying the team. No.
All right. Okay. How much faith do you have in your forward line when the pressure is on?
Not much.
All right. Which loss hurt more? A close one you should have won, or a blowout where nothing worked?
Close one.
Do you trust your coach long term, or is there
No.
always that what in the back of your mind?
No.
No what?
No to all of that. I don't trust him. And what was the second part?
Never mind. Who's the most underrated player on your list right now?
Underrated.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
Underrated. Maybe someone like Carroll. Maybe Carroll, pretty good player. I think he's a little bit underrated.
Okay. I want you to be honest on this one. Are Carlton fans too hard on their own players?
No. I don't think
Yeah,
they're hard enough.
What would you consider a pass mark for this season?
pass marks
Sack the
team.
coach. Sack the coach and start again.
When do you think you'll be playing finals football again?
Oh, I think everything goes well. 4 years.
Who has been your favourite Carlton coach in the last 25 years?
25, so that brings it back to 2000. I mean, if you're doing that, I mean, David Parkin would have been just finished there. But outside of that, if we leave out David Parkin, it would have been Brett Ratton.
That's nice.
That's it. I rest my case.
Oh, you went easy on him, Manny.
That was easy.
Listen, I like to bring questions that are going to be part of the club as the club is progressing. I'm not going to ask him questions about who shagged who in 1984 and that kind of things. You know what I mean? These are questions that are, you know, they some people say they're boring questions, but these are questions that you can all relate. All right, because you got to remember, there's a lot of you who are in your early 30s and your early 20s. Like Matula, for instance, she's in her mid-20s. So, you know, I can't ask questions 40 years ago.
I'm telling you, they're still talking about last week. Last week was a disgrace. And you let down all the Collingwood supporters, right? And then
I can't wait to do Manny again. I can't wait to do Manny again, man. I fucking can't wait.
All right, so next week,
what number is he? What number is her?
Have I done Liam or have I done Mark? What should we do next week?
Nah, you haven't.
You want to do Manny?
I'll take on Rocco. You ask me questions.
All right, I'll ask you, and you ask Manny next week.
I'll take on
Mark
the challenge.
asks Manny. I'll ask Liam.
It's a big challenge.
There you go, Mark. Here's your chance to try and defeat a magpie.
I'm just going to do what Red Faces did, mate. Bong.
Hey,
Bong.
get ready for this.
Well, you know, it's my Greek Easter, and I shouldn't technically be saying, you know, these nasty jokes. So I'm going to try and keep it as clean as I can. All right. So anyway, bloke goes into a brothel, and he's doing his business. And while he's doing his business, he loses his bracelet. So he's looking around and thinks, shit, you know. And she said, have a look in case it's stuck up there. So he sticks his head in there and he has a look, looking for his bracelet. He's put his whole body in there. And as he's looking around for his mate, sees a bloke and says, "Did you lose your bracelet too, mate?" And he says, "No, I lost my scooter." It's short and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes.
Can't believe that, man.
Oh,
You're literally like, oh, I want to be good because it's Easter, and straight away, oh yeah, there's this bloke at a brothel. I was like, oh,
Oz did not
that's
understand
gone straight
that
away.
at all. Oz didn't understand that at all, so he was completely done. Yeah, so we are. Yeah, I don't think that was your best one, Manny. You made me laugh because it was so bad, but we'll see about next week. You're going to redeem yourself next week.
Oh, yeah.
Glad you kept it clean, Manny. Glad you kept it clean.
Manny's version of keeping it clean. All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys, listen, it's been a big night. We've had a good time. We've had a bit of fun, we worked out what's the best and worst chocolate. I think that's the most important thing about today. The rest of it really doesn't matter. We could all be all losers again next week quite easily. And I think we are just quietly. Make sure you get down tomorrow night. Big night. Regardless of the result, let's get together and have a bit of fun. Even if you're not a Carlton supporter and you want to come down there, man, and have a bit of fun, make sure you get down there, the Sporting Globe at Northlands with an
Northlands, that's right.
Get down there, we have a bit of a laugh. We'll get together.
It says Northland. Does not say Northlands.
Do they do palmies there, Rocco?
What?
Do they do parmigianas?
Yeah, they do Parmigiana. They do a great Parmigiana. They do get some great food there. So get down there. Yeah, and then for the rest of the week, man, we've got that. Make sure you catch Bo with game day tomorrow. There's going to be a live feed from the Sporting Globe. So do a live feed straight there. And then we've got emergency meeting straight after, which is always fun. There's also the reviews and previews. We had Selection Blues today, which was great. The boys are doing a great job. Zach and Dylan are doing a great job with that. Of course, you got Blue Sunday with the hyphen, and then you got Tuesday TJP was a big show. We had Monday Blues Andy on there, and of course we got us every Wednesday. Outside of that, I think we're done. You know what? I'm going to leave everyone. I'll be back in a sec, but I'll leave everyone with this high. I think we just need a little bit of a high here. So let's finish off with this. Everyone, only the best security doors and blinds in the business.
If you want your family to be safe, Carlton security doors and blinds is the place. Fourever rivals, a bomber supporter and a really top mate. All of your security.
That's got to pump us up. No matter what happens in life, mate, that's got to pump us up. Like to thank everyone in the chat. We've got here David Thomason. He is Breakfast with the Blues in Perth. So he's down in Perth. So he does Breakfast with the Blues. So he's a great watcher on that. Make sure you catch up if you're a Blues supporter. They've always got a football player to interview. They've got David Rees-Jones doing a segment there. They're great value. Only Carlton's going to be there tomorrow too. He's coming down there, so he's great value. Make sure you subscribe and see all his stuff there. And make sure you join me for game day if you're not at the Sporting Globe. Of course, we mentioned that. If you want to check out the game, Bo does a great job, man. I'm telling you. Last week I didn't go to the game because I worked. And it was one of the first times I got to catch up, watch the game on TV, and then have Bo on the side. Hey, that's pretty cool. Bo on the side. Hey, I told him I was
Ah,
He knew I was coming. He knew I was coming. Yeah. And so Bo, and it's great listening to him. And he's also he gives gift vouchers out, good stuff. And that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a great show again. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share it. Let everyone know what a bunch of nuffies we are. Because we are, seriously, we come here every week. We're just a bunch of nuffies, man. Who wants to listen to us? Seriously. But thank you very much for joining us. You're the people that make this. To tell you the truth, I love coming here every Wednesday, having a bit of a laugh with these guys. But the chat is something special for me on the side, reading it, reading all the comments. Trust me, I don't put them all up there, but I read them all. I have a laugh in my head. Some of them I can't put up, but just the little group that this chat has, the fun that these guys have between them is amazing, man. Coming up every week. So, man, I really do love all you guys. I don't really like, what was his name? The Collingwood supporter? No regrets. He's the only one.
You don't like him, man.
But apart from that, I love everyone else, man. Seriously, guys, it's been great, and we'll see you all next week. Go.
And happy Easter. Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Happy Easter to all my Greek and all my Orthodox friends out there. Be safe, enjoy.
And
Kuros.
No.
Yes, absolutely. Cool.
Anesti.
That's a great way to finish. That's a great way to finish. Yeah. All right, go boys and go the